Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault, and you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict, and boy do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy there.
Got the wrong guy, and the dog was biting him.
He roughened him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
Is the next search on February 28, 2020? 7:44 p.m. How, does the FBI find people? And people's misspelled P-E-O-O-P-L-E. Did the defendant find out how the FBI finds people in this case? Oh, she found out.
Because he's the guy!
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I'm the Recovery Addict. Thank you very much. Come on in, take a seat. It's good to be back. Oh my goodness, it's good to be back. The front row is full. Y'all sit in the back. Oh my goodness. Paralegal Mandy, that's funny. All right, okay. Oh, wrong button, sorry. Let's see. All right, we have to, first and foremost, properly recognize Kim R., who is once again first in chat. Kim is our honorary internet owner. She won once again today. Congratulations, Kim. This one's all on you. If it goes downhill, we know who to call. But we know that you can handle it as well, so congratulations on the win. Add this one to your long list of offenses. The internet is all yours today, Kim. Thank you very much. The internet queen. There you go. All right, we have things to talk about today. But we have to talk about some other stuff first. And by other stuff, I mean, I've got to give you an update. Oh, so remember back in modern times when homes had indoor plumbing? Yeah, we don't have that right now. At least not in this house. We've got it in our Airbnb. So we're not renting out the Airbnb until this is fixed, because we now have literally outdoor, well, it's indoor, but it's in other door plumbing, because we're replacing all our sewer lines, which is more fun than you could possibly imagine. I mean, I don't know how else to put this. It's just never-ending excitement. It goes from one low to high to another. It's so terrible. My goodness, you guys, this was just supposed to be a little flooring project, and then fix the toilet seal. And no. We're now. I've removed the vanities from inside the wall. We have vent pipes going up all places where we never knew we had vent pipes, that now we have to chase them all the way up to the roof. So we've got this. We're now tying in roof repairs to this as well. We have, we've taken out our sewer line. It doesn't exist between the two floors. So, that's one thing. I tore out old windows. Oh my goodness. I pulled out an old window in the bathroom. It's called flooring glass. It's like Depression era, 1950s flooring glasses. It's glass that is, when it's hot and like poured out in a sheet and rolled, one of the rollers has the shape, little design of flowers, lots of little daisies together. I think they're daisies, and so it's a form of privacy glass, but it's all these little daisy things. So we've got a big window I pulled out of 29 by 29 inch flooring glass. We're actually going to give it to my neighbor, because she does paintings on old glass, and it's just really cool stuff. So we're excited about that. Hopefully she loves it. Let's see. What else do we have going on this morning? We're taking a break from the plumbing, so we can figure out how to get the pieces of the plumbing pipe that went down the pipe back out of the pipe without getting anything else up out of the pipe. That's fun. So if you have any suggestions that don't involve selling the house and paying somebody to do it, let me know. All right. Hubby doesn't like to start to fix things because he says he will find other problems. Oh my goodness, Momo Shark. I found so many problems. The window weights were beautiful. The window weights for our windows were incredible, but mostly it's just problem after problem. So anyway, we're excited. We're excited because someday in the future, the bathroom which we hated, which Mrs. R.A. Has hated from the moment she laid eyes on it, is going to be the bathroom of her dreams, or at least something close to it. It just takes a while to get there. So that's the update from our house. We now have, let's see, what's our house?
I stole it as well.
1, 2, 3, 4. We have a 5-bedroom, 0-bathroom house right now. Is what we have. A 5-bedroom, 0-bath, which is fun. All right. Yeah, the tub. Still have the tub. The clawfoot tub, cast iron tub, which I think weighs right around 500 pounds. It's in the hallway right now because we've got like an upstairs landing, a big opening, and so it's sitting there. And I think it might become a planter. It is so heavy. I don't know how we're going to lift it over the railing and down the wooden stairs without killing whoever's on the bottom. It's insane. I think I'm going to put it on Facebook and be like, free tub, but you have to carry it and you have to sign a waiver before you do so, because you can't break you can't break our house, and you have to take the tub. But anyway, it's fun stuff. Write it down the stairs, says Crafter H. Just write it down the stairs. I told you who to call. Yeah, I know, Ashley, but it's just it's getting worse and worse. But we tore the sink out as well. We had the sink from the 1950s. That's gone. I've got one more sink from the 1950s. We had 3 matching sinks from the 1950s. The first one went fast. The second one we went to today. The third one is actually in one of the bedrooms, which was used as a doctor's, like a treating room for patients, because this was like a doctor built this. So we still have that one. It's non-functional. It's not connected to anything, but it's still mounted on the wall because we have to take all the door trim off because they mounted it like into the door trim. Anyway, all right. You've always wanted a tub like that. Bug Dugger, you don't really. The tub has feet, right? It can walk. Yes, Tisha. Why didn't I think of that? Oh, my goodness. Anyway, lots of fun stuff. You didn't come here to hear my me bemoan my my home repair. It's home remodeling, I think is what we are. We're far past repair. We've moved squarely into the remodeling sector. I'm pretty sure I need a permit at this point for what I'm doing, but we won't talk about that. All right, we have some things to talk about. Oh my goodness, we have Kouri Richins, which that case sort of blew up with the revelation yesterday. That and we'll go into this maybe a little bit further as we're scrambling to see if we can get the document, because everyone's talking about the document, but no one has released the document. So a few people have it, but we can't find a copy. What we are looking for. We're looking for the newly unsealed search warrants that include the name of Kouri Richins' mom on it as far as someone who they were investigating. Now, why would they include the mom on the investigation? Well, it turns out that Kouri Richins' mom had I believe what they referred to as a love interest, another lady, a significant other, a partner, who shortly after Kouri Richins' mom's name got put on the beneficiary of the will, of the life insurance policy, that significant other passed away from drug poisoning. Now, drug poisoning is exactly what Kouri Richins' husband passed away from. So we now have a situation that could be entirely coincidental, or we could have something that runs in the family. And you have to look at this, and now going back and look at all the letters that Kouri Richins was writing to her mom, or allegedly appears to have been writing to her mom, like the walk the dog letter. And you're wondering, oh my goodness, is there an accomplice? Is there a familial accomplice in this one? So this, I don't know what this will do, or if this has been totally fleshed out, because this was just unsealed and there are no charges. There are no charges. So it looks like they were just looking into it. And the investigator who did was saying, hey, there may be something there. Oh, we have some birthdays. I forgot the birthdays. How can I forget birthdays? It's my birthday week as well. So let's sing. Let's see. Angie Carter, Alexander, Georgina. All 3 have birthdays today. We're going to sing together to them. Please join with me in singing to Angie, Alexander, and Georgina. La 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 la. There we go. Everybody ready? Dancers, same as last time. Here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Angie, Alexander, and Georgina. Happy birthday to you. Did I say Alexander right? I hope I did, Alexander. Happy birthday to Angie, Alexander, and Georgina. Wonderful, wonderful day to have a birthday. Oh, man, everybody is dancing today. Wow, you guys all have been practicing. Let's see. Ashley says, how do 56,000 of us get on a Zoom call to sing happy birthday to you? Megan, you pulled a jaw muscle in singing? I hate it when that happens. Dancer's looking really good. And the costumes today are on, except for one of you. No, just kidding. The costumes are great. All right. To those who are celebrating a happy birthday, I hope it is your happy birthday today. I know it's your birthday, but I hope it's a happy one for you today. And I realize there are a million places you could be and a million people who would celebrate with you, but you are here with us. Thank you very much for making that choice. Also, help yourself to free pancakes at Denny's. And I made omelets. So if you want an omelet, that's an option as well. So this morning, omelet, did a 2-egg omelet. Took some Black Forest ham. Oh, you made me another omelet? Thank you. You're awesome, little RA. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Can you get me a fork? Okay, I'll eat this one too, I guess. Okay. I was just saying I made myself breakfast, and my son cooked me an omelet. I'm full. Now I have to eat the omelet, or else he's going to be offended. Sorry, I can't diet today. I must preserve the relationship with my son. And he cooked some. Anyway, he did a great job. Anyway, happy birthday to everybody. Second breakfast already. I'm going to be so sleepy this afternoon. It's going to be great. All right. Let's see. I had a story I wanted to tell you. While I eat this. Are you going to watch me eat the whole time? He made me an omelet.
That's amazing. He made that.
Third omelet of the day. Yeah. Thank you, bud.
Buddy.
It's delicious. Hardly any eggshells. Wow. Okay, I'm going to need some water, though. Okay.
Have him send someone with more experience.
He's a great kid. He's amazing. I think he made the omelet like 15 minutes ago. It's like cold. But it's for me. So thank you. All right. Thank you. I have a story to tell, and it's a little bit unrelated. Third omelet. Wow. He had no idea I made one because he was still asleep when I made my omelets. But I'm going to share with you a little story that may or may not be related. But I woke up in the middle of the night last night, and I think it was, 3 o'clock in the morning, because I had a nightmare about plumbing in my house not working. Then I woke up and realized it wasn't a nightmare. It was just reality. And so getting back to sleep was difficult, but I did the wrong thing, which is when you wake up in the middle of the night and picked up my phone.
Are we going to address subject
and
matter
looked at my phone
jurisdiction?
and it reminded me of something I wrote in 2019. I thought I want to share the story with you because this is it was an important thing that happened to me back then. Let's see if I can get this pulled up on the screen. And it's a little bit it's a little bit irrelevant, right? I'll say that right now. It's a little bit irrelevant, and it takes just a couple minutes, but I might not be able to see it the way it is right now. Hang on, let's copy that and put it somewhere where I can see it.
You're talking about stuff that is
not relevant. Okay, file, new. I just need the text to be like something other than light gray.
Is that correct?
There we go. We'll bring this one over. Now I can see it. Better. Bigger for old eyes. There we go. Turn off the format. All right. So this story, I'm telling this story in the in the present tense. And before I do that, I have to, oh my goodness, a couple of you have mentioned some things. Cat028, welcome to the gallery. Thank you very much. Blue Courthouse by your name. Love it. Marie, good morning, chat and RA. My cousin Georgina just celebrated her 50th. Would be great if you sang to her. I think we did. Georgina, happy birthday. I think she was the one we sang to. Let's see. Candace Hoff, not much, but a little bit to help. Candace, thank you. Thank you so much. Be Kind Tiger, member for 11 months. Hey, 11 plus months. Little RA is the sweetest. Awesome channel and chat. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. Paula Mack says she won't say anything, but Carrie H. Kispy Cow has been nominated for a Daisy Award again. She's not here, but I'm so proud. Such an awesome nurse. That is awesome. Those Daisy Awards are really cool. Love when a good nurse gets recognized by the people that they serve, the patients. So that's just awesome. Jessica Hicks, love how your family takes care of each other. Thank you, Jessica. They're amazing. And thanks for your 2 months of support. Mindy FS, member for 5 months. The channel and community just gets better all the time. That is because of you. It really is. Thank you very much. Had a buffer sound, so let me see what I'm missing here. Mel Poi had a birthday today. Let's see. Courtney Meek, husband is prospective juror number 2 for voir dire this morning. Could happen. I saw your message got pushed off a little bit. Mel Poi, happy birthday. I realized we already sang the birthday song. We'll let it run in the background just for a little bit for you. Sorry we missed you during the song, but happy birthday. Hope you have a wonderful birthday with everybody else as well. And what a great month for birthday as well. Happy birthday, Melpoy. All right, we have. Are we going to do the Treehouse sequel? If we can get the video access, which I think we can. We're working on that. We're working on a lot of things. Okay, let me tell you this story, and it's a bit not relevant. I have to try some Black Forest ham though. Maybe I just fold it into a little bite-sized nugget and eat it. It's good and it's cold too. But the ham is like pizza. You can eat it hot or cold. Okay. So I told you about this story. 6 years ago, I lived out west, Wasatch Front area in Utah. And I moved to North Carolina. And the process of moving was it was not fun. We'd lived where we'd lived for a long time, so I didn't really know how to move. So as I prepared, so I wrote this. I'm going to tell the story as if I was there before I moved. Ready? So I'm preparing to move across the country, and I have to pack up all my possessions. And I'm faced with the decision to either keep or discard items that I accumulated over the years. And some of the decisions are easy, like old electronics, broken gadgets, easily replaced gizmos. You know, they all go in the donation bin. Clothes I haven't worn in ages because they seem to have shrunk around the middle. Those go donated too. The decision gets a little harder when it comes to items with emotional and sentimental value. So I have like autographed books from my great grandfather, and you know that's definitely a keeper. And you know, mission memorabilia, from when I was in England. I've got every item I own basically goes in this process where I weigh and measure. Let me see. I weigh and measure the. Let's go right here. That's a little bit better. I weigh and measure the item against its value. You know how much I like it, to determine if it's retained enough value to remain in my possession. So after cleaning out my closets and my drawers, I survey my surroundings, and I find myself face to face with the hardest decision of all. There's one possession that brought me nothing but pain. And I don't mean emotional distress or mental anguish. I'm talking about the actual, ow, it hurts, make it stop kind of pain. And in spite of this, I kept it for years, more than 32 years to be exact. And I don't have any real attachment to it beyond the periodic passing interest I throw in its direction a couple times a year. And I say a couple times a year, but even that is an exaggeration. There was at least a 2-year period where I had never even glanced at it. I was out of the country for that time, but truthfully, had I not been away, it's altogether likely that I would have ignored it just the same. Well, there is one factor that comes into play that may be important. This particular item is alive. You see, I have a small plant that my mom bought me when I was in elementary school. As I remember it, she bought each of the kids a plant in an effort to teach us responsibility. Caring for a plant would give us experience providing for something that was totally dependent on our diligent attentiveness. I'm not sure if Mom doubted my determination to persevere, or if she just knew that I would need a plant that wasn't as sensitive and fragile as the others, because out of all 10 of us kids, I'm the only one that received a cactus. This particular cactus is a barrel cactus. If you're not familiar with barrel cacti, imagine something thumb-shaped being swollen at about twice its regular size and covered with sharp spines. Yep, that was my thumb, and that's pretty much how I got introduced to the cactus. Well, the cactus came in a plastic pot, which was just fine with me, but my mom had other plans. She took us all to the thrift store and had us choose out a new pot for our plant. Mom had me fill the pot with new potting soil and instructed me on how to transplant my little bit of living flora into its new home. The pot I chose was rectangular, brown, yellow, and white oddity that somehow found its way out of a Santa Fe-based intro to pot making class for teens. It's like 3 inches deep, 5 inches wide, and less than 10 inches long, and it barely had room for a couple cups of potting soil and the root ball of my new cactus. So I dutifully and painfully transplanted the barrel cactus into its oddly fitting new home, and I watered it. Not because I thought it needed it, but more to help the soil firm up around the cactus and prevent it from tipping over and stabbing me with its spines yet again. I placed it in my bedroom window, not out of any interest of the plant's well-being. I was simply the first place I could think of where it would be out of the way and it wouldn't get poked with spines so often. The decision may have proved to be a poor one, because as I got a little older and may or may not have begun participating in certain unauthorized nighttime escapades with my friends, my cactus, hypothetically, would be located exactly in the covert entry and exit path to and from my room. I can't go into further details to this without incriminating myself, so I'll leave it at that. But I recall at some point I became curious as to what a dying cactus would look like, and I resolved to do absolutely nothing for it until I saw the fruits of my neglect. Cacti are patient things. I did eventually notice that the spines seemed to get closer together during the times of extended drought, but I looked at it so infrequently it was hard to remember how it looked before. I don't remember the moment I surrendered our little desert standoff, but at some point I started watering it once or twice a year. I never bothered to learn so much about this particular type of cactus, but somewhere along the line, I managed to determine or make up the idea that the cactus forms new spines in the center on the top part of the plant. And as the cactus grows, those spines with like some fluffy white fur fuzz stuff gets pushed upward and outward and toward the side of the cactus by the new spines. And in the season where I failed to water it, the whole plant just seemed to shrink a little bit and hunker down for a long wait. There was a time during junior high when I noticed a drastic change in my cactus. Near the top edge, I guess the crown of the cactus, I noticed that a small pink flower had bloomed. While a more committed gardener, say like Adam Nuske, may have taken this as a sign that years of proper care had been rewarded with this natural manifestation of beauty, I knew better. Like a kidnapped victim scribbling "help me" into the dust of a window pane, this little blossom was a cry of desperation. It didn't work. I've continued to neglect this little prickly plant to this day. Even now, it sits in its ugly little pot, surrounded by the same soil I planted it in more than 3 decades ago. There is only one change I have made to the landscape. A single white piece of quartz now sits in the pot next to the cactus. I didn't put it there for decoration or to keep the cactus company. I just happened to drop it in on accident, and out of an abundance of precaution for the well-being of my fingers, I neglected to remove it. After considering the fragile and hostile nature of my cactus, along with the incompatibilities of packing and moving, I've come to the conclusion that the time has come for us to finally part ways. The realization sinks in like water into parched potting soil. The truth washes over me like a flood before it's almost instantly absorbed. Yes, I suddenly realize that I've unconsciously watered my little plant. Again. Maybe this last cup of water is a subtle apology for the years of neglect. Maybe I only watered it to weigh down the soil and prevent it from tipping over again. But maybe I finally learned what my mom was trying to teach me all along. I'm sure if cacti are anything like trees, a forensic botanist could dissect my little barrel cactus and quickly ascertain that this little plant lived a hard life. Too little sunlight, shallow soil, not enough nutrients, far too sporadic waterings. I'm guilty on all charges. I'm not sure if plants have feelings, but this little prickly cactus would be justified in harboring a grudge against me. Somehow, I don't think it does, though, because up near the top, where the new spines form, I can see that once again, my cactus is starting to blossom. I don't know why that makes me cry. I miss my cactus. I gave it to a friend. I gave it to a friend before I moved, and he's kept it safe. So, don't eat the flower, says Jim Hobb. I feel like that was a breakup text. I saw that came across my Facebook from 2019, and I wrote it before I moved to North Carolina, and yeah, it's probably a good thing because a cactus in North Carolina would not do well. unless it's like a prickly pear. There's just too much water here. But anyway, so there you go. I thought I'd share that with you because it's what I was thinking of last night. But I gave it to a good friend who is an avid gardener and landscaper, and who he was my next door neighbor. He owns the house right next to my bedroom window, so they would have been the ones seeing me sneak out the window if I ever did, hypothetically. So he and his name is Forrest, by the way. So I just thought it was fitting. He's clearly into plants. All right. Anyway, that being said, I thought I'd share that with you because I saw that and I'm like, oh, that's neat. I'd totally forgotten about that. All right. So now we're going to go back to talking about murder. Now that we've, you could have been a novel writer. I had somebody say that I should make that into a children's storybook. But I have zero artistic ability. You know what I'll do? I know what I'll do. Hang on. I'll show you my cactus. You can't go that far and not see the cactus. Let's see, where's it going to go? Let's put it right there. Okay, here's my cactus. Are you ready for this? That's it. That is the pot. That is the rock. You can see the rings of drought and desperation. But that was the last picture. That was the day I moved. I gave the cactus away. And that's the same potting soil. That's the same potting soil I put in there in, fourth grade or third grade. I forget what it was. He had a hard life. It is a cool container. Red Pen, I've actually learned since then that it has an artist name on the bottom. It had an artist name on the bottom, and it's actually a collector. It's a collector pot. Like that type of design it probably has much more value to it, even than my sentimental value for the cactus. But I gave it all away. I have not seen pictures of it since I moved, so it's been 5 years or so. You should go to jail for that. It's alive. No cacti, please. We're good. We're good. I think I'll ask Forrest for a picture. I know he took it to his work, and it's poked several of his coworkers. Because when you water it and you do well, when it does well, it actually looks pretty cute. Like it like fills out and looks cute, and everyone wants to pet it. And I don't know why that's like the first reaction when you're like, oh, there's a cactus. Let me stick my hand on the pokey bits. But that's what they do. And he's reported that that's what's happened. I'll see if I can get an updated picture. All right. Yeah. All right. Let's see. So we were talking about murder earlier before we got all sentimental there. And I'm choking here. Hang on. All right, we were talking about Kouri Richins. I'm still trying to get through this omelet. I'm so full, guys. If I don't eat it, he's going to be devastated. Would you guys eat half of this with me? Can I split it with you? I was going to go through and talk about Kouri Richins today because we're hoping for big things in that case. As far as the schedule goes, Kouri Richins has... Where's she at? I think it's 5/15. There's a preliminary trial date, so we're about a month away, or 2 months away from a preliminary trial date. So this could go this summer. Zoe's not going to be here today, so... how young do I turn this year? I have to do the math. It's like I'm past 45. Let's put it that way. So it's more than 45 and less than 50, somewhere in the middle. You don't have to eat every omelet he makes. He's just egging you on. Oh, so good, Greener, so good. All right, let's see. We're going to talk about Kouri Richins because the timeline is important. And for those that are not familiar with Kouri Richins, this case is wild. And if anything develops out of this latest revelation with her mom being investigated as a possible connection, that I don't think we have any evidence that she is involved other than circumstantial, I think. And even that is sort of a weak connection. But Kouri Richins, for those that don't know, she was the author, okay, June 15, we'll just go back a little further. June 15, 2023, Kouri and Eric get married, right? They sign a prenup because there's some money involved. Their family there's some money, okay? There's money there. So they sign a prenup, and it says that Eric would keep his portion if they divorced. But Kouri could claim ownership of some of the assets if Eric should die before Kouri does while the two are still married. This seems like a bad prenup because it's like it like lays out that, under these circumstances, if you die while we're still married, then I get more money. So it seems like almost incentive. Crazy Cat Queen says the breakfast looks great. Can I have your kid Uber me one too? He would love that. So they get married. They have a company, the forklift, some equipment, scaffolding, it's construction stuff. 2015 through 2017, Kouri purchases 4 life insurance policies on Eric. That's this many, 4 of them. I think it's like 1.9, just close to $2 million worth of policies. Kouri starts having financial troubles and starts stealing money from Eric to help with buying and selling homes because they're doing these flipping things. March 2019, Kouri opens a bank account without Eric's knowledge and has a revolving line of credit. She borrows about $250,000, and she does this with a deed of trust where she had forged Eric's signature. So these are the underlying financial issues. September of 2020, Eric learns that Kouri had withdrawn $100,000 from his bank account, borrowed $30,000 on credit cards, and borrowed money using fraudulent power of attorney, and he confronts her, and she promises to pay it back, but doesn't. All in all, she stole about just under $500,000 from Eric's money, and Kouri is claiming like $3.6 million of his estate. So October 2020, Eric reportedly talks to a divorce lawyer, an estate planning lawyer. He changes his will, and he forms the Eric Richins Living Trust, and he puts all his estate in the control of that with his sister instead of his wife, instead of Kouri, as the primary benefit for his 3 children. He also transfers his partner interest in his business to the trust, and he designates the trust as a beneficiary for a $500,000 life insurance policy instead of Kouri. November 2020. Eric signs a will that includes their 3 kids. January 1st of 2022, Kouri changed the beneficiary for Eric Richins' $2 million life insurance policy to herself without authorization. The original beneficiary was Eric's business partner. This came to the attention of the insurance holder, and Eric's business partner was restored as the beneficiary. Late January 2022, Kouri contacted a friend several times asking if she could get a prescription pain medication for an investor who had a back injury. Some hydrocodone pills were left at Midway House that Kouri was flipping, and Kouri allegedly left cash for them. February of 2022, Kouri reportedly reached out to the same friend and asked if she could get something stronger, some of the Michael Jackson stuff. Kouri stated meaning she specifically asked her friend for fentanyl. The friend gave Kouri about 15 or 20 pills. Kouri paid just under $1,000 for them. February 14th, this is Valentine's Day, 2022. They have Valentine's Day dinner at their home. And after the dinner, Eric gets sick, and he told a friend he thought his wife was trying to poison him. February 26th, so 12 days later, Kouri contacted her friends again and asked for another $1,000 worth of fentanyl pills. They did the same drop at the same house, and she got the pills. March 3rd, Kouri said she and Eric were celebrating her closing on a house for her business. She made Eric a Moscow Mule in the kitchen. That's a drink, mixed drink, and brought it to the bedroom where he drank it in bed. He also consumed a THC gummy. Shortly thereafter, Kouri says she went to put one of her children to bed and fell asleep. Then March 4th, Kouri says she allegedly woke up at like 3:30 in the morning, went back to her bed, and found Eric dead on the floor at the foot of their bed. She said that she left her phone plugged into the bedroom while she was with her child. However, her phone showed that it was locked and unlocked multiple times. There was movement on the phone. Several messages were also sent and received during this time window, but those messages were deleted. Following an autopsy, it's determined that Eric died from an overdose of illicit fentanyl. The medical examiner says the amount of fentanyl in his system was approximately 5 times the lethal dosage. According to the medical examiner, the fentanyl was ingested orally. Kouri files a claim in February against Eric's trust, contesting Eric's sister as his personal representative of his trust. Kouri was arrested in May for aggravated murder and 3 counts of possession of drugs with intent to distribute. In April, Kouri emailed Summit County to explain her exotic vacations since her husband's passing, his alleged affair, her mental health, their lack of financial problems, and her work ambitions. In June, Kouri files a civil lawsuit against Eric's estate, alleging she deserves several monetary and or physical assets, according to their prenup. In August, the state of Utah announced it will not seek the death penalty in her prosecution. The decision was made in careful consultation with Eric Richins' father and his 2 sisters. According to the court documents, this means Kouri's charge of aggravated murder is now a non-capital first-degree felony and is punishable with 25 years to life in prison if she's found guilty. Okay, so we read the Walk the Dog letter. That came out September 18th last year. This is the letter in which Richins appears to be telling family members how to testify in court. Prosecutors said the letter is blatantly witness tampering and filed the motion to prevent Richins from having contact with family members. The next day, Richins' lawyer says, actually, that's you just found pages to a book she's writing. Why would she be writing a book? Well, right after her husband passed away, she wrote another book for her kids called something about Are You Still With Me or something. It's a book about grieving for kids who lose their parent. And she went on a national book tour. She was on all the talk shows. And so there's that. But it turns out that she actually killed the guy, allegedly. October, the Richins' attorney filed a motion to dismiss her case based on the Walk the Dog letter going public, claiming it violates a gag order set up by the court. Prosecutors say they want the entirety of Richins' Walk the Dog document, which her attorney insists is part of a larger fictional novel. The court agrees, and they gave the 4 pages of the letter to the prosecutor's office. November was the last time I think we saw her in court, where she was reading a motion to dismiss. She appeared in court regarding a motion to dismiss her trial, which was denied. Richins' defense claims that the state had perpetrated a false narrative through the release of the Walk the Dog letter. Said she wouldn't get a fair trial, and they said, yes, basically we can. So we are coming up to the trial date for this trial. We're hoping as we get closer and closer that this date sticks and we get to fall through this. This is one I would like to be there in person for. We're trying to do that. I'm already on the media pool for this case. It is bizarre. It is crazy. And with this latest revelation that just came out, with the fact that during the investigation, they investigated Kouri Richins' mom and found a connection between her mom and her mom's significant other, who died from drug poisoning, and also there was a will where the money went to the mom. They thought there might be a connection there. So that'll be interesting to dig through. We're waiting. We're looking frantically for the documents because it just got released yesterday, but nobody has a copy. They've only I think they've seen it. So we're waiting for a copy to come out. So let's see. That's where we are. And that's why Kouri Richins is so high on the chart of what we want to look for. I've been ignoring chat, and I apologize. Let me look over here what we had here. Okay. Let's see. Mindy FS, thank you for the 5 months of support. Crazy Cat Queen, welcome to the gallery. Crazy Cat Queen, the breakfast looks great. Can I have your kid Uber me one? No, I got them all. I got them all, I think. Thank you. That said, as far as court goes, we're in a bit of a lull. The only thing that's going on right now is, I think up in Idaho, Young Thug will be going for the next 20 years, I think. But up in Idaho, they've got that cop, the bathtub murder thing that's been going on for about 10 days. That's going on. I will go to the post office again this week, I think. I can possibly do it today during lunch. If you go to the trial in person, who will we watch it with? Here's what I want to do. I want to go to the trial in person, and I also want to watch it with you. So that would mean I would most likely not be in the courtroom, but in the media room and be live from the media room. I don't know if they'll let me do that. I have to look at the rules for Summit County as far as that goes. But if I can set up the equipment in the media room and monitor there, I might be able to go live from nearby. Judge Boyd's trial ended last night, including sentencing. That one involved kids. We weren't going to watch that one. Something got delivered. I will go look. Want to know about the DNA test from the one trial we watched? That was in Judge Wolf's courtroom. We have not heard about the results from that. So let's see. Let's see if Judge Wolf is live yet. Do you need me? Here. I'll go to this one so you can walk by. Is that cool? Good luck. You got this. My son is doing the dirty work, cleaning up pieces of pipe and stuff in there. Magnets are involved, let's put it that way. So we have to fish things out of the wall. All right, let's see. We were looking for Judge Wolf. Let's see. He's not live yet. I think Judge Simpson's live, but I think he's doing landlord issues. Let's see if we can take a peek at what he's doing right here. Why is there no audio?
Morning.
That's not him. Hang on. Audio's not passing through. Find it over here. I think it's on his end. Hang on. Any luck?
I need the yardstick.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's on his end. I'm not getting any audio. Let's see.
Zarica versus...
There we go.
Kingsley. Zarica versus Kingsley.
Morning. On behalf of
Oh, no, not doing anything.
Okay, good morning. All right. Where?
No.
Oh, you need it. Go ahead. I'll wait for you to put that on.
Oh, her mask said
Can
something.
you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Got it. Okay. All right. Where are we?
Her mask had a message on it.
Been here on a few different adjournments. I think this was the date and time set for the last settlement conference. Defendants requested a jury trial. There was an escrow order that was put in place January 5th. That escrow order, though the sums have been paid properly, the timing of the order was breached. It's required to pay rent within the same time period as the lease, either the 1st or late by the 5th. We have escrow payments that were made February 15th, February 16th, that would have been late for the month of February, which would result in the waiver of the jury. So as a result, if the court is still inclined to proceed forward with the trial, it should just be a bench trial at this point. It should be set relatively quickly. I believe the escrow order would have required it to be set within 14 days.
She brought her pet.
We have filed an answer. The court had adjourned previously when the defendant filed an answer to this, that their affirmative defenses could have been read as counterclaims. So we did file an answer to the end to avoidance of the affirmative defenses with the court. Ready to proceed now, though I still don't think there's a tribal issue of fact. I know the court has allowed it to go this far and is granting her the jury trial.
Do you have a response?
Yes, Your Honor, I believe that there are tribal issues. I can prove with evidence retaliatory eviction, illegal lockout, changing locks. I communicated the need for repairs, gave plenty of time. They were not done. This ultimately stems from a personal dispute by Ms. Serena's husband. I have been trying to get help from state emergency relief. I had to wait a little while for my appointment, and I had it last week. And thank God I was approved for some support up to $3,000, but the landlord refused to accept it. There has been no serious health hazard done, and they will not be able to prove that such a thing occurred. I will be able to share context.
Well, let me ask this. And it's a rather odd termination because one of the things is a failure to pay rent that was on there. But that aside, have the health hazards that were alleged, have they been corrected?
No, I've been living in this winter with a broken window. I have been living without a thermostat because the landlord took it away. It's one of those Wi-Fi thermostats. Mitch.
What do you mean they took it away?
So
it's a three level unit, Your Honor. The thermostat is in one of the other units, which is set to 72 degrees and stays there. She's never had access to the thermostat.
That's not true. When I moved in for 5 months, I did have a thermostat that I used, and I keep different hours. I'm disabled. I tend to be more awake at night when their schedule fits probably more of a 9 to 5. So what's happening is at night, the house is freezing cold when I'm trying to accomplish things. I've had issues with the lighting in several areas where.
Hold on.
Yes, sir.
In terms of the rental balance, so maybe we can get that part. What is the balance that you're claiming is owed?
The balance of rent, not including the escrow, Your Honor, would have been $5,390 through this month. I do believe escrow was paid this month, sometime around March 1st for $980. Otherwise,
well, I don't have $980 in rent. Unless some came out. I have $870, which was paid on the.
Oh, yes, sir, because last month I paid a little extra ahead. So when I was here to make my payment, I asked the clerk to tell me the amount that was paid extra. So if the total balance should reflect the 3 months.
It may. I'm just saying counsel had indicated a certain amount had been paid, and I'm indicating there was $870 paid.
the full amount was paid in pieces. Yes, sir.
From the onset of this case, Your Honor, $6,370 in total rent paid.
Say again.
$6,370 would be the rent due and owing.
6,300. Give me that. $70.
Just so the court is aware too, the lease expires April 30th.
What do you have as the amount of rent?
What does her mask say?
$1,939.98.
All right. So the lease expires April 30th.
Correct, John.
Are you intending on moving, or what is the?
Yes.
Okay.
I wanted to stay at my apartment.
Pardon?
I wanted to live in my apartment for the full lease term. I'm planning to move out at the end of April.
Okay. All right.
So I would like to see proper accounting of the claim of that amount, because the last time it was requested, it was not done properly. And
What do you mean the last time? I'm not sure what you're referring to.
At the December 22nd hearing, Your Honor, defendant requested an accounting of the rents that were paid. We did a notice of filing showing both her payments as well as the payments of her prior co-tenant, because
that is not true. That is not true. I have not received that. That's what I asked for.
Hold on.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. I'm trying very hard.
Okay. And you're saying you didn't receive it.
I did not receive anything that reflected what my roommate contributed. I did not see that, what Attorney Backman just said.
And Your Honor, that was addressed at the last hearing, where she indicated that
thought it was
a proper accounting. She didn't like the way the accounting was drafted, but it was in and of itself an accounting of all of the rents paid by both sides showing.
And maybe we review it together.
We who?
He's saying it is, I'm saying it ain't. Let's.
Okay. Here, I think that's what let me put it this way. What I'm looking is what issues at trial I'm going to have to deal with. Obviously, I'm going to have to deal with that. So
I have an additional copy, Your Honor, for the defendant, so I'll make sure.
Okay.
Yeah, and I heard you said is this the answer? Because I didn't receive any additional information. You said you filed with the court?
Your Honor, I have an additional copy of the answer to the affirmative defense.
I mean, how do I get that?
These were all mailed, Your Honor.
Well, they haven't been received yet.
okay, now they have. All right. So what the court's going to find regarding trial, because obviously we're not going to be able to resolve it here at a final summit conference, is that given the way that escrow was paid, the problem is that escrow needed to be paid within the time frame specified, and it wasn't. It was paid, all right, but you have to. No, I'm not faulting you for that. I'm just saying.
Which month was it? Because this month I came in as soon as I got my Social Security deposit. I only get the one amount per month. And
no, I get it. I mean, it's not, but what I'm saying is there's time frames for it to be paid. What I did is I think that the jury has been waived.
Correct, John.
And so that's it. That doesn't mean that you don't get a trial. I delayed it in terms of what would normally happen is I would have said, jury's waived, they get an immediate trial. The problem is you had not yet gotten all of your things together to get to the court. And so I was allowing that to happen. That doesn't really affect the waiver. It more affects the timing of the trial and then the payments. So there will be a trial on possession. I will set a trial on possession. Here is my real fundamental question for the parties, because I can get you in. It's going to be sometime in April. And realistically, just thinking, lease expires April 30th, right? There'd be a trial. We could certainly spend our time on a trial. or agree to a move out at the end of April, because I mean, you're going to somehow or another, you're going to have to figure out the figures of what may be owed, right?
I can do
But, and I know you can do that. You're going to come to a different number than that. I know how I've been with you guys long enough to, I know what's gonna happen. So, but what I'm saying, I guess my bottom line to it is I'll give a trial date. Right? That's not a problem. But the reality is you're going to be moving out at the end of April, right? And that's what they're looking to have happen. I don't know why we can't just figure everything out with a move out date of April.
And I'm okay with that. I would be willing to negotiate with them, but after I got the approval, they said, yeah, we're going to help you with the 3,000 from SOS. The total amount that I had was just under 3,000. So here I am happy. I'm going to get some support.
Hold on a second. So did they say they were going to do that?
Yes, I have the email that I can share with the court. Miss Alicia, last name.
So Alicia, that's fine.
Yeah,
from SOS.
Yeah, and I have a letter that states the landlord declined to participate in the program. So they're suing me for money. I was able to get money, but they don't want to come. I was, Alicia basically said, which is my, I have an email. It says that, you know, I've been waiting all this time for the extra help. So, you know, they're kind of just throwing everything on the wall to see what sticks. They're claiming rent, but the rent was withheld because of a failure to secure a property that's habitable. The landlord busted off the locks. I lived without locks in my apartment for several months. I had people break in.
I'm not here to try this right now. Okay. If you say that there's assistance, they declined to participate in the program, then I can't do anything about that. I can't force them to do that.
Yeah, it's just odd, right?
Pardon?
It's odd.
It's not necessarily odd. I mean, some landlords participate, some don't.
I'll speak with my clients as a person.
I was wondering if they should contact Zorica instead of Mitch, because Mitch is the rude.
All that aside, Your Honor, I don't know if the court would prefer, given that there's an indication from the defendant that should be moving out at the end of the month, to set the trial in May, just not to waste the court's time. I hate to kick this out any further. My fear is that we'll have the issue over not just possession, but damages and rent. That'll be the bigger.
Because there wasn't a permanent ongoing problem.
So possession is already handled. Setting it in May may save the court time.
You have any problem with me setting a May trial date then instead of an April 1?
I preferred the jury trial that I requested.
I know, and I'm deeming that it's been waived.
Okay.
So
I'm willing to be at trial whenever is convenient for the court.
Okay, but what counsel's suggesting is a May trial date, because you said you're going to move in April, and so it may be that the trial may not be necessary. It can be resolved that way.
Because it's a retaliatory eviction and I want my damages.
I get that. Yeah. But the certain issues regarding possession and other things would be done with if I set it in May. As opposed to if I said it's going to be early April. And here's what I don't want to run into potentially is a situation where, let's say, and I'm not saying how I'm going to rule, but I'm just saying, let's say I rule in their favor, and then there's an order of eviction for, let's say, April 15th. And then, but you're going to be out the 30th anyway.
I'd be willing to be out tomorrow if they would just accept the $3,000 and say I don't owe them any money and we move on. It's only a month left.
Okay.
Otherwise,
then that may be an option you guys can work out. And let me just say this: I don't know this for sure. Part of the reason why they may not have accepted the 3,000 is because the funding technically is to preserve housing. So the question of, you moving out at a particular point in time may affect that 3,000 and whether or not they pay it.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's a hypothetical, but there depends on what program it's coming from, is what I'm saying. So it may be that it's not entirely as simple as that, because what used to happen is somebody would get an email like you did. They'd contact the landlord, and what they want is then a lease that continues on. And if the landlord said, no, that's not going to happen, that will look like their rejection. I'm just saying, I don't know that happened in this case, but I could see that potentially being an issue in this case. All right.
Potential, not plausible.
Okay, however you want to phrase it. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to indicate the jury trial's been waived. I think the best thing to do, folks.
So what month was it that I missed the window?
Well, actually, the first period in time, you actually would have missed it.
The first period when it was first ordered?
Yes, ma'am.
It was ordered after the payment due date, wasn't it? We're talking about.
Well, there was a escrow was prorated, and then when you came into hold on. When you came into February, you did a partial.
I've already.
And then, if you're going to try to overtalk me, I can't do it that way.
How else may I respond to things that I'm concerned about? I don't have, I will write them down.
All right.
How else can I
That's
bring
my
up
ruling on it.
unless
I'm
I
also
interrupt you,
going to
Your
then
Honor?
set non-jury trial in this matter. Give me a May date. I need it before then.
Tuesday, May 7th, you know?
Thank you.
You guys want to come back Tuesday, May 7th?
That non-jury trial, May 7th, 2024 at 9 a.m. Right. And that's what we do. And you're going to check into with SOS.
Yeah, sure.
And that.
Do you have their contact info I can share with you?
That's what I was going to suggest. If you can get the contact information so council knows, and then that way, maybe that'll work out that back amount in some way. Okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
All right. So before we go on to the next hearing, let me bring you. We've got the document we talked about this morning, and thank you to our incredible mods who dug and dug until we got this. We got the document talking about Kouri Richins and the investigation. This is actually the affidavit requesting a search warrant.
We do the same.
Oh, sorry. Don't want him to be right there with us. So we have the document. We're going to bring this up and share this with you. I will warn you that just in perusing it, it has some language. It has some quotations from from things. So let's see. Let's pull this up here. Let's see if I can go full screen here. Just 1 second. Where's my full screen? Oh, that was full screen. Okay, there we go. So, 3rd District Court, all department in and for Summit County, State of Utah, affidavit for search warrant. The affidavit, the undersigned affiant, Detective Jeff O'Driscoll of Summit County Sheriff's Office, upon an oath or written affidavit subscribed under a criminal penalty, declares their affiant has reason to believe that on the items described as a blue Samsung stylus cell phone with serial number blah, 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 belonging to Lisa Darden in the city of Park City, County of Summit, State of Utah, there is now a certain property or evidence described as economic, man, reading is hard. Reading is really hard. electronic documents, email, instant messaging and text messages, personal communications, internet history, personal and business schedules, photographs, images and video, contacts lists and phone numbers, call history, GPS location history, and social media activity and messages, and all other digital activities stored on the device. They want everything. The Celebrate download. And that said property or evidence was unlawfully acquired or is unlawfully possessed, has been used or is possessed for the purpose of being used to commit or conceal the commission of an offense, or is evidence of illegal conduct. Affiant believes that the property and evidence described above is evidence of the crime or crimes of aggravated murder and conspiracy to commit murder. The facts to establish the grounds for the search warrant are: I, Jeff O'Driscoll, attended the Weber State University Police Academy. Go Weber State. Great, great, great. That was my college, by the way. In 2015, where I was trained in multiple facets of law enforcement and criminal investigations. Prior to attending Post, I obtained a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from Utah Valley University. In the past 7 years as a law enforcement officer, I've attended multiple training courses to keep my certification current and have always exceeded the minimum training requirements set forth by Post. In addition to my current law enforcement certification, I am certified as a field training officer, canine handler, field investigation drug officer, firearms instructor, and have also acquired certifications for criminal interdiction and defensive tactics. I've been employed as a full-time law enforcement officer with the Summit County Sheriff's Office since 2016. In that time, I've held various assignments, including field training officer, canine handler, UAS pilot, he flies drones, firearms instructor, and SWAT sniper. I am fluent in Spanish and have assisted multiple law enforcement agencies with translation. I am currently assigned as a detective with the Criminal Investigations Division. I have successfully testified in court on multiple occasions and have maintained a close relationship with the prosecutor's office. I just realized I might have a very close connection to this case on the police side. I might reach out. On March 4th, 2022 at 03:22 hours, Summit County Dispatch received a 911 call from a female party leader identified as Kouri Richins about an unresponsive male. The male was Eric Richins, Kouri's husband. Deputies and EMS staff responded to the residents to attempt life-saving measures. Life-saving measures failed, and Eric Richins was declared deceased. Deputies held the scene and requested the medical examiner's office as well as detectives from Summit County Sheriff's Office respond to the scene. While waiting for detectives and the medical investigator, Deputy Nagayan conducted an initial interview with Kouri Richins. Kouri stated she, Eric, and Kouri's mother, Lisa Darden, Lisa Darden is Kouri's mother, so that's the name we're watching for, had been celebrating Kouri closing on the house of her business the night before around 2100 hours. Kouri stated they had a drink to celebrate. Kouri stated Eric then went to bed. Kouri stated she went in to sleep with one of her children due to the fact that the child has night terrors. Kouri stated she woke up around 3 o'clock in the morning and came back to she and Eric's bedroom. Kouri stated that at the time she felt Eric and he was cold to the touch. That is when she called 911. After determining that Eric's death was not likely due to natural causes, his body was transported to the medical examiner's office to perform an autopsy. After approximately 3 weeks, toxicology findings for the autopsy were available. It was determined that Eric died from an overdose of fentanyl. When speaking to the medical examiner's office, the doctor indicated the level of fentanyl in Eric Richins' body was approximately 5 times the lethal dosage. The medical examiner determined the fentanyl was illicit fentanyl and not pharmaceutical grade. It was also the opinion of the medical examiner doctor that the fentanyl had only been ingested orally due to gastric fluid contents. After receiving the information regarding the toxicology, a search warrant was obtained for Eric and Kouri's residence. During the service of that search warrant, Kouri's phone, as well as several computers, were seized as evidence. Warrants were obtained for all electronic devices, and the information from those devices was downloaded to be investigated. When investigators went through the information from Kouri's phone, it appeared several text messages around that time from March 1st through March 15th had been deleted, the time surrounding Eric's death. Several communications between Kouri and Carmen Lauber were located. Through the course of the investigation, detectives began to investigate individuals close to both Kouri and Eric Richins. During that time, Carmen Lauber was identified as being a housekeeper, often used by Kouri for her residential real estate business. A police records check of Carmen Lauber revealed multiple counts of possession of a controlled substance with intent to distribute, possession of a controlled substance, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Lauber also had charges of theft, DUI, burglary, and aggravated assault. Due to the fact that the fentanyl discovered in Eric Richins was illicit fentanyl, it was plausible that Lauber was the source for the fentanyl. While conducting an investigation into Lauber, Dominic, or Nick Bonsavage, was identified as an associate of Lauber's. Nick Bonsavage has a chemistry degree and had been previously charged in Heber City with clandestine lab charges for operating a methamphetamine lab. It was also learned that Bonsavage has a boyfriend named Grant Johnson who is currently incarcerated at the Utah State Prison in Gunnison. After learning this information, detectives spoke to staff at the Utah State Prison and requested phone calls Grant Johnson made from March 1st through March 15th. During one phone call between Grant and Nick on March 2nd, 2022, Nick answers the phone and states he is on a break from drug court. It was verified through court records that Carmen Lauber and Dominic Bonsavage were in drug court together at that time. At 2:32 into the call, Grant says, "Tell Carmen I say hi." A female can then be heard in the background saying, "Hi, honey." Grant then responds by saying, "Hi, Carmen." On 3/3/22, Grant called a phone number that is one of the phone numbers the investigators identified as belonging to Carmen Lauber. Grant starts the call by saying, "Good morning, Carmen." The remainder of the call is discussing a possible mutual acquaintance Grant knows in prison. On 3/4, Grant makes a phone call to Nick. During that phone call, Grant and Nick are discussing purchasing an Xbox controller for Grant while he is in prison. Nick makes the comment he would pay for the controller. Grant then responds by saying, "You or Carmen, one of the two." Nick then responds by saying, "I tried giving that $100 yesterday and say, hey, let me pay you back. I'm paying you back." She's all, "What the blank? No, you keep it. I just made $1,000 selling fentanyl," or something like that. Wow, it's hard to read some of these words. That call between Grant and Nick occurred the same day Eric Richins died. On 3/27/23, Carmen Lauber was arrested on misdemeanor traffic offenses and booked into the Wasatch County Jail. On 5/2/23, myself and other detectives interviewed Lauber while she was in custody. Post-Miranda warning, Lauber admitted to supplying Kouri Richins with 15 to 30 fentanyl pills on 2 separate occasions, approximately 1 month before Eric's death. She stated Kouri paid her approximately $900 each time she supplied the pills. She provided details of the solicitation of the drugs, the pickup and drop-off locations, and other pertinent details that had been corroborated with digital forensic evidence. In investigating Kouri Richins' associates, it was discovered that in 2006, Richins' mother, Lisa Darden, was living with an adult female with whom she was having a romantic relationship. In April of that year, her romantic partner died unexpectedly. An autopsy report of the female partner showed that her immediate cause of death was a drug poisoning from an overdose of oxycodone. Further investigation showed that Lisa Darden had been named as the beneficiary of her partner's estate a short time before her death. The female did have current prescriptions for oxycodone and reportedly struggled with abusing her meds. Fire department's going by. She, however, was not in a state of recovery from addiction at the time of her death. Based on my training and experience, this would likely rule out the possibility of an accidental overdose. In reviewing forensic downloads from Kouri Richins' phone, it is clear she is very close with her mother and communicates with her almost daily, both for personal matters and in her business dealings. Conversations have been found on Kouri's phone showing disdain for Eric and on Lisa's part. Based on Lisa Darden's proximity to her partner's suspicious overdose death and her relationship with Kouri, it is possible she was involved in planning and orchestrating Eric's death. On 5/8/23, detective serves a search warrant on Lisa Darden's phone. A blue Samsung cell phone was recovered and identified as Lisa's current cell phone. I am applying for a warrant to search the digital contents of that phone. Wherefore, your affiant prays that search warrant will be issued for the seizure of said items in the daytime. Application to seal search warrant and related documents. Your affiant requests, pursuant to Utah Rule of Criminal Code, that the search warrant application and affidavit or other recorded testimony upon which the warrant is based to include this application and for an order sealing such documents be sealed until 11/9/2023 for the following reasons. Pose a serious impediment to the investigation. Due to the sensitive and ongoing nature of the associated homicide case, your affiant requests the warrant be sealed while the investigation is ongoing. I declare under criminal perjury penalty that the state of Utah that the foregoing is true and correct. Executed on 9th of May. So as you can see, it was ordered sealed until 11/9/2023. It just got unsealed. Let's see. One more search warrant. Let's see, the cell phone, is this a double? Let's see. I think this is just a double. Well, this is the short version without all the reasoning. And it's signed. Oh, so there's the search warrant itself. Andrew H. Stone has got the stamp, ordered a seal, it was ordered, and done. So Kouri's trial is supposed to be coming up here soon. We're looking at, I've got a date of 5/15 for a preliminary trial date. And we'll see if that holds. In short, what did it say? Okay, so this is what it did. This was an affidavit to basically the police officer or the investigator goes to the judge and says, we would like a search warrant. And the judge won't just say, oh, sure, go ahead. He says, show me your reasonings. And he says, first of all, you have to list what you want. And he said, we have this cell phone we've confiscated under another search. Now that we have the cell phone, we want a search warrant so we can search the cell phone. So this is the affidavit requesting permission or requesting a search warrant so they can then do a Cellbrite search of the phone itself, saying we have the phone, we want the data on it. And so they list all the data that they think is on there, and they're going to go through and get all this information. So this is what they find is something that might be coming out in court once the case moves forward. So they basically say, here's the happenings, here's the issues. We've got this friend, this housekeeper that has all the drug charges that we believe supplied the drugs to Kouri, the same drugs that Eric Richins died of. And then we have these communications between her mom and her, and we just dug into her background a little bit. It turns out that she had a partner who she became named as the beneficiary on the life insurance, and then that partner died from a drug overdose. And we're thinking this, how often does lightning strike the same place, the same family? So, quick, someone investigate Kara's grandma. Yes, it might run in the family is what they're saying. So the plot thickens. I don't believe this would slow anything down because it shouldn't cause any delays in the trial itself, because this is something that they've just had under wraps and been working this whole time. It just barely became public information. Yes, it is very spicy, especially when you take into account the mom's role in the walk the dog letter and the other letters that Kouri Richins wrote and was holding up to the glass in prison. Because when you mail a letter out of prison, out of jail, it doesn't just go in the post office box and it's gone. They get read. Incoming and outgoing mail, it gets scanned, it gets viewed, and unless it's communication with your lawyer. And so she would write these letters, allegedly, and hold them up to the window, to the glass on her side of the visiting glass. The mom would read the letter silently to herself on the other side, maybe take some notes, and then Kouri would take the letter back to her jail cell and maybe tear it up and flush it, or eat it. I don't know, but it would go away. And then they went in a search of her jail cell. They found the walk the dog letter in a folder. Now the folder said that this was like communication with her lawyer, but it clearly is not communication with her lawyer. If you guys have heard that letter, if you guys remember, I'm not sure if you want to go back and hear part of that. Let me see. I think I've got it pulled up. Let's close this one down. Where's walk the dog? Not there, not there. It's over here. Okay. Walk the dog letter. Let's go over just really quickly this, hide the sidebar, go full screen. This is hard to see. I'll do my best in trying to read this for you. But since we're talking about Kouri Richins so much, we're going to go back over this letter. Page 1. Walk the dog, but take vague notes so you remember. This is like Feed the Cat, only different. Sky is Kouri's lawyer. Sky is saying even if the gummies have fentanyl in them, the prosecutor will say, I tried to put the fentanyl in the gummies, so Eric would have them. Stupid, I know, but that's what she's thinking. We will still test them, though. However, she wants to link Eric getting drugs and pills from Mexico, so we need some kind of connection. Her private investigator is doing some research on the ranch/cartel place Eric would stay at. Here's what I'm thinking. But you have to talk to Rodney? I can't quite tell. He would probably have to testify to this, but it's super short, not a lot to it. He will need to tell Sky at the meeting next week. Upon information and belief, just like they say, a year prior to Eric's death, Ronnie was over watching football one Sunday, and Eric and Ronnie were chatting about Eric's Mexico trips. Eric told Ronnie he gets pain pills and fentanyl from Mexico from the workers at the ranch. Not to tell me because, hang on, I need to change the view here. View continuous. There we go. Not to tell me because I would get mad because I always said he just gets high every night and won't help take care of the kids. There are pictures in my phone of Eric passed out on the floor and in the chair. Ronnie should have texts from Eric talking about getting high as well. Eric told Ronnie he keeps them in a allergy pill bottle in his work truck, so I wouldn't find them. Ronnie never told me about the conversation. Eric finally told me and asked if Carmen could come get him some. Eric never wanted anyone to know he had an issue, especially get caught. He always wanted Kouri to go down for him. When they traveled, Eric would put his drugs in Kouri's bag at the airlines right before they boarded. That way, if they were caught, Kouri would get in trouble, not him. Once they got to wherever they were going, Eric would pull the drugs out of her bag, and it would cause a huge fight. She was pissed he would risk her going to jail for his drug use. He just would laugh about it. Eric couldn't ruin his image that he had drug issues, so he would do whatever he had to. Kouri has never done any type of pills, didn't like them. Let's see. Rarely would she consume THC, only if Eric begged her because it was a special occasion. Reword this however he needs to make the point. Just include it all. The connection has to be made with Mexico and drugs. Ronnie will have the messages to prove Eric confided in him about getting high. He can be short and to the point, but it has to be done. Upon information and belief, LOL. They never found pain pills or fentanyl in my house because he hid it in an allergy bottle and work truck, and Cody emptied out the work truck within a week, so they were never found. When you talk to Ronnie about this, meet up with him in person. I worry sometimes your house and phone are bugged. Maybe drive down to to Salt Lake, I think, and meet him after work without Bree. Sky has to make the connection between Eric and Mexico because that makes the most sense in her mind. If it's Ronnie's information and belief about my conversation after football, she can use that as a connection. Tell Ronnie, don't overanalyze it. It was a quick 2-minute conversation. LOL. Tell him I need him to do this. Bring me home, and then we will get those dang beaches. I think he's talking about going on vacation somewhere. Also, please text Lotto or call. Tell him to not text me anything about us doing things together ever, like church, skiing, trips, nothing that puts us together. It doesn't look good. We're so close to the end. Let's push through. We have the conversation with Ronnie before he meets with Sky. Then tell him to tell Sky at the meeting about the conversation. Hang in there. We're almost there. I love you to the moon. Take vague notes of all this so you remember before you walk the dog. I saw a commercial yesterday. Utah Mortgage Relief. Google them, please. It's for people behind on their mortgage. Can you see if they can help out all with Marissa's house, please? We have to get her Gary and Chelsea taken care of ASAP. Try to go to that place in Camas. What about asking Lotto to do a loan solely in his name and not have you on there? I know he can do a home equity line of credit on his house in Hideout. Not sure if he would, but I know he has a million in equity. Maybe he just doesn't know about a HELOC, home equity. If he wants to help me, taking care of these loans is the most important. I don't give a dang about the yodels. Yotels? Remember, I told you one way to get at Katie is going through my phone and finding a picture of her girls, even with the boys. Print 15 copies and send them out anonymously to different media companies. Obviously, don't email the pictures so it's not traceable. She would be livid if it got out to the public. You would just have to do it sneakily and be careful. She would try and trace it back to you. If not, no worries. Sky is having the My Girls do the first interview with the Good Morning America. Please tell Chelsea to bring up that he hasn't been to church in the 13 years she has Kevin or known him. And Eric would brag to her about how much he drank and did pills in high school. Tell Kelsey to say Eric always wanted Kouri to go down for him. For example, he would put drugs in her suitcase when she would travel together. So if anyone got caught, it was Kouri. He would put it in her bag right before they left and the house, so Kouri didn't know. Then he would land. When they would land, Eric would take them out of her bag, and Kouri would be pissed, and they would argue about it. Tell Kelsey to say how Eric didn't care and would just laugh about it and say, well, I can't get in trouble, as if it was okay that I got in trouble. Have Selma talk about Eric in Spain not being able to drink, so he was looking for drugs the entire time, and explain the drink the waitress gave him and how I called his doctor and went to the pharmacy immediately. Have Allie talk about how the sisters have always been jealous of me because of anything they could do. Kouri could do better. Being a mom, college, stay-at-home wife until she built $1 million company, a nice house, car, everything. Everything she had, they wanted. This comes down to jealousy, money, and Eric's partying that they didn't want to acknowledge, and sadly, on an accidental overdose. Lastly, don't forget to work on the gun receipts. We want to file charges and let the prosecutor not do anything about it to use in our defense. Will you buy a box of Crest white strips, open them up, put them in an envelope, and have Sky give them to me? You can tell her what's in the envelope. I'm sure she won't care. Make sure they can't be found in my cell. My teeth are yellow from so much coffee and tea all day. I love you. I love you. I love you. Hang in there. We're getting there slowly. You're the best mom in the whole world. I'm so lucky to have you. Oh, I forgot to call this out, but it was on screen the whole time. Kim, wow, best 6 months ever. Love this community from the alternate egg juror. Wonderful, wonderful. So this is the mom. This is the mom we're talking about. Thanks for the corrections. Hers, yours, and Chelsea's. I struggle with some of the handwriting. Beaches and vacation are the kinds of beaches as in the sisters. I think she meant the sisters ones. This is the lady that wrote the kids book. This is her. Her case is coming up here in the next couple months. It's starting to ramp up. This letter was written by Kouri while she was locked up in jail, and it allegedly was intended to be shown to her mom, the same one who we now hear has this connection, and there's a suspicion, at least on the investigator's part, that the mom was involved in either the planning or the carrying out this the poisoning of Eric. So the case just gets better and better. It's a tall tale. This is witness tampering in like the third degree. It's so bad. It's so bad. But they say in their defense, this is actually just parts for a book she's writing. Apparently, there's no other parts that she's written yet, but this is part of it, and that has nothing. The fact that it resembles her current life is irrelevant. Has nothing to do with that. It's just for her book. It's all pure fiction. You got a Russ t-shirt yesterday, not sharing with Buttercup. That's awesome. I've got to have we're putting the other thumbnail up that you guys worked on so well in the same sort of series. So I think the family have children now. I'm not sure exactly who, Lady in Gray, who has them, but I think it's family. Holly Mack says, thanks, Scott, for chat for a memorable and fun 9 months. Holly, that's wonderful. Thank you very much. It wouldn't be the same without you here for 9 months. That's great. Let's see. It's part 2 of her prior book, the first book. Whew. Lots of coincidences there. Because can you imagine? This trial is going to be so juicy. This is going to be absolutely insane. With all the details that are coming out, everything that's going forward, the connections, the triangles, the conspiracy. It's going to be a mess. New trial starting this morning in Michigan. Christine, which trial is that? The bond hearing was juicy. They've every single one has been good. Did I summon you, Carmen? I was reading different things. Let's see. What did I say? I don't know what I said that could have summoned you. Going to need the huge bucket of popcorn with extra butter. This trial is crazy. I just realized I've got a connection on the police force up there in Summit County, and so I might reach out and discuss it with them. So let's see. Oh, there's a Carmen in the Kouri Richins case. That's what it is. Different Carmen. So get geared up for Kouri Richins. And now we're just hoping that Kouri Richins doesn't get interfered with by Sarah Boone, because Sarah Boone is scheduled for the 13th for 5/13, and Kouri Richins has a preliminary trial date that's preliminary. I don't think it's the actual trial of 5/15. So Sarah Boone needs to wrap up quickly, and then Kouri Richins immediately afterwards. Great family values. Need a sarcasm button. Yeah, this family's great. It sounds wonderful. The Michigan trial, is it live streamed from Michigan on their page? Jody says I'm still in awe of the chart. We've got a lot of things on the chart, so. The one in Michigan in unaliving his wife or girlfriend the day before Christmas. Angelique, do you have some information as far as the location or the case or the? See, Michigan. A lot of them are live streamed internally. Let's see. Let's go to the court live streams. Not Supreme Court, trial courts, virtual directory. What county are we in? Anybody know? ABC 13 on your side. Might not be able to grab that one. Let's see. WZZM. Let's see, murder trial for man accused of shooting. Killing a 23-year-old mother of 2 on December 26th. That's in Grand Rapids. It's Kent County. I don't see any that are live right now. I can see that news company has it, but I don't think anyone else does. 13 on your side. I can't take what they've got there. It looks like they're a sole provider, so there's no pool to join. Kouri trial is going to be wild. It's going to be absolutely crazy. Angelique, they shut down their stream at 5 p.m. That's because they use their equipment for their 5 o'clock news. They also posting it to the YouTube channel. Let's see. Yeah, it's just that one. I can't grab that one. It's a murder trial, but we can't grab that. You're late to the anti-plumbing group. Oh my goodness. We broke, going back to the plumbing, we broke up the cast iron pipe, literally sledgehammer to the pipe to break into pieces to haul it out. And some of the pieces went down the pipe. And the problem is metal in the pipe would clog it up. And it needs to not be clogged up. So I've got a special camera I can run down the pipe to make sure nothing's stuck in there, but I'm worried that we have to pay to have somebody clean out the lines. So please vent all your plumbing woes. When is the trial? The trial for Kouri Richins is going to be this spring, I'd say, spring or early summer. By the way, happy first day of spring. Is that today? I think it's the first day of spring right now. Yes, we are looking for a new trial. I just want to see if some of our old favorites are back in session. Judge Cedric's doing landlord stuff. We haven't been to the Louisiana Court of Appeals lately. Judge Wolf is not up. Sorry, not Court of Appeals, the Parole Board. Oh, they are up. Let's see what's up with Louisiana. Oops.
Passion marks.
Passion marks are kind of like scratches. It was passion mark.
No, it was passion marks. Like that came from days prior to the situation.
Well, what do we come in on?
What caused the little talk y'all were having, little argument?
I mean, really, it was really over nothing. It was just about, doing stuff around the house that I was supposed to do that I didn't do at the moment. And I mean, she was coming off of work and everything. But I mean, it was never that serious. Like, it was never serious.
Did you ever do time, Mr. Latino? What time did you do? Was it in a state facility or parish jail?
State facility, parish.
Okay, did you ever take anger management?
Yes, sir. I was just released from Bossier, Steve Hoyer program.
Right. I see that. Completed it, didn't you?
Yes, sir. I completed it.
Mm-hmm. So you have taken anger management.
March 26th.
Yes, sir. I've taken
so
anger
what should you have done different in this situation? What you think you should have done different?
I think instead of like just continuing the argument, I feel like maybe I should have just left, and let the situation calm down. And then
good idea. That's what they teach in anger management, right?
Yes,
Take
sir.
a deep breath, walk away. Okay, you need to start trying to remember those things because yes, I mean, nobody saw this fight because y'all was in the bedroom. A man says he heard it, but he didn't see it.
Yes,
there were some marks. It wasn't bad. Both of y'all, you and the victim, said it was not a physical fight.
Yes, sir.
Victim, matter of fact, would not even testify in the case. Are you still seeing the victim?
Yes, ma'am. I mean, yes, sir. We've been married since I've been here and everything.
Okay, so y'all got married while you was incarcerated.
Yes, sir.
Y'all got any children together?
Yes, sir.
How many?
4.
4 children together. They live with you and her?
Yes, sir.
I have no further questions.
Not with you right now, but with her.
Mr. West, is there anything you'd like to say to us before we vote?
I mean, you know, I just pray that y'all be lenient on me. I feel like as though I was charged with a crime that I did not commit because my wife told the arresting officer on the scene, like there was passion marks and nothing physically happened to her. I've missed birthdays, I've missed holidays, my court dates kept getting pushed back. I mean, you know, I don't blame it on you guys for holding me. You know, y'all just doing y'all job, but you know, I just pray that y'all be lenient on me and just let me back home to my family and my nieces, my nephews, my brothers, my mama. I talk to everybody every day. I mean, they miss me, I miss them. So I just pray that y'all be lenient on me and show mercy on this revocation here.
Were you working at the time this happened?
No, ma'am, I never, it was kind of hard for me to get a job. I mean, I was trying. I mean, I did try to get my TWIC card, but they denied it. My parole officer, she was supposed to, put in a word or whatever what she said, but I don't know, for whatever reason, it didn't go through. So, I mean, I was trying though, you know, I had like, before I was incarcerated, I was doing like retailing jobs, but I was traveling state to state. And it was kind of like an issue of getting a pass for that. So, you know.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. I think we're ready to vote, Mr. Freeman.
Okay, Mr. West, now you've been in 8 months. That's a pretty good while we've been detaining you. There was no weapons used, but you know, I think y'all did have an argument.
Yes, sir.
You admit to y'all having an argument. And you could see, I mean, this could easily have caused your probation be revoked, and it still may. But my vote today is going to be to do not revoke, and that you're to turn in at least 3 or 4 applications per month showing you're looking for employment to your probation officer. And remember what you learned in anger management. You've got to learn to walk away, because if you don't, you're a 4th felony offender. You go down again, going down for some serious time.
Yes, sir.
That's my vote, Mr. Knudsen.
Mrs. Ledoux.
Mr. West, you have the tools, it seems to me, to do the right things. You've been through some programming. You know the importance of following the directions of your P&P officer, and certainly domestic issues like you just were involved in is not going to be healthy. However, I believe that you have served some adequate time. I want to see you out there providing for your family and doing the right things and being a better role model to your children. So my vote today is to do not revoke, but you need to be seeking employment.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. West, I did concur with my colleagues. My vote also is do not revoke, with the condition that Mr. Freeman imposed, 3 to 4 job applications every month till you get a job.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. We wish you well. Good luck to you. Mrs. Romero, that concludes our business at your facility. So we're going to sign off at 9:49 a.m. Thanks for accommodating us this morning.
Thank you.
So we joined at Passion Marks, and we left with a do not revoke, which means when they revoke bail, that's when they get sent back to prison to serve the rest of their term. So a do not revoke is the best situation for the defendant. That's what he wanted, because that lets him get back out. He gets back out on bond. He's under the same restrictions and orders he was under before. Other than now, he has to turn in 3 or 4 applications a month, saying he's looking for a job. Now, I will say this, and this is a complaint that I have with our justice system. It is very difficult for someone who has a conviction to get a job. So letting them come out of incarceration and saying, just get a job, why aren't you working? It's not the same as someone who doesn't have a conviction on their record getting a job. It is much more difficult to find an employer who is willing to say, yes, I'll hire somebody who has a conviction. I'll hire somebody who has a record, who has to be working with a parole officer. It might cause problems with, not necessarily problems, but it might be more work for the employer to hire somebody who's just got out of jail than someone who has no record whatsoever. And so it's frustrating to see, you look at that situation, like why your wife was working and you were not. Okay. That's basically the story. Why didn't you have a job? It's not that easy. And I wish there was more companies. There are a few out there that specifically hire inmates and say, look, we know, a lot of them were started by an inmate themselves who, turned their life around and said, look, I know how hard it was when I got out of the lockup to get back on doing good. And it's so hard to change your life when there's no income. How easy is it to go back to stealing when there's just no money to pay the bills, right? It's the whole Jean Valjean thing all over again from Les Mis. But it's so 3 to 4 applications a month. That's not a lot. The applications are easy. You should be able to fill out 3 to 4 applications a week. But actually getting the job, very difficult. Especially one that meets the needs as you've got 4 kids together. So someone has to give them a try. They do. I've toyed with the idea of doing something similar, but I wanted to be on the other end of the spectrum, and I wanted to do a business where we taught youth that might be in an area, consider what you might call at-risk youth, job skills before they got down a path that led them to prison, and try to reach them in the before stage instead of after. So we're still thinking about how to do that. Alicia, good morning. Welcome. 9 months. It's wonderful to be here. It's wonderful to be here and doing this instead of plumbing, which still needs to be done. It's not going away.
Meaty Banana.
Meaty Banana, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. Hey, I was just watching this about this parole hearing, and this guy was doing 3 to 4 applications a month, which is like laughable. Mm-hmm. When I was out of work, I was doing like 3 or 4 a day. Yeah.
So how much do you want the job, right?
Exactly.
You've got to.
That's not a lot of effort.
It's not. I think that requirement is quite minimal. I think we've got another case coming up.
All right,
right
good
now.
morning. The Committee on Parole, we are reconvening at Riverbend
I'm going to let you go. Okay.
Center.
Thank you so much.
At 9:53 a.m. on March 19th, 2024. Would the staff at Riverbend please introduce yourself for the record? Can you hear us? You can't hear us? You're muted. Do you have staff in the room with you?
No, ma'am.
Nobody's there with you? They did. Okay.
Why
don't you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and DOC number.
My name is Robbie Stelling, 622-845. Date of birth is you.
I don't need the date of birth. Already got it. Thank you. Do you have a parole revocation questionnaire there in front of you?
No, ma'am.
Okay, we're going to put one up on the screen. I want you to look at it and confirm if that's your signature at the bottom of the page. Just stand by. We're going to put it up on the screen for you.
Beth, congratulations on 12 months. That's awesome.
All right. You see that form? You recognize it?
Yes, ma'am.
That's your signature at the bottom of the page dated December 29th, 23?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you. Based on that information, Mr. Stella, you're not eligible for appointed counsel this morning. So are you ready to proceed with your revocation proceeding?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'm going to read the allegations against you, after which you'll enter a plea of guilty or not guilty, and then we'll have a conversation about your plea and what happened. And at the end, you'll be allowed to make a statement if you'd like to do so before we vote. Okay. You ready?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Stella, you're accused of violating the conditions of parole, specifically condition number 4. And it says on October 19th, 2023, You were engaged in criminal activity in East Baton Rouge Parish. You were arrested for domestic abuse battery by the East Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office. The charge of a domestic abuse battery was no bill by the East Baton Rouge District Attorney's Office. So how do you plead to violating condition number 4? Guilty or not guilty?
I got arrested, but I didn't get
We'll talk about it. I need you to plead though. You say guilty or not guilty?
guilty.
You plead guilty? All right. And then the other one is condition number 10. And it states you are in arrears $315 for your supervision fees.
Guilty.
So I plead guilty to that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Would you answer Mr. Freeman's questions, please, sir?
Okay, Mr. Stella, you've been in jail 8 months?
Since October, 5 months.
Okay.
November, December, January, February, March. 5 months. November, December, January, February, March.
Okay, 6 months.
5.
We'll go with 6. Let's go with 6. All right.
Okay.
All right. Tell me what happened. What's been pretty serious? I see there's some pretty serious wounds on her.
Only wound she really had on her was her neck, where she scratched herself with her ring. That's the only thing. I didn't put my hands on her. She started punching on me. She put her hands on me. I grabbed her to get her off of me, and her ring scratched her in her neck. That's the only mark she really had on her.
What happened to the charges? Are they finished yet?
They completely dismissed them. They never picked them up. The state never picked them up. There was no, I don't know. They told me the reason they brought me to jail, they were bringing me to jail is because I didn't have nowhere to go in Baton Rouge. I didn't have no other house to go to. That was my residence and her residence, and I had to leave the residence. Being that I didn't have nowhere to go, they was bringing me to jail. And then the next day, they got a parole hold on me.
Right. All right. Okay. Who is the victim? Is that your girlfriend?
That was my girlfriend, yes, sir.
Y'all still see each other?
We talk here and there. It's not like that. She's crazy. I learned that in the wrong way. I'm good. I want to be single now. I'm good.
Good. I mean, she advised that y'all had gotten in a fight the night before. Did y'all have an argument the night before too?
No, sir. We fussed the night before, but it wasn't nothing like that. Like she spazzes out. Like, bad.
So y'all been having a few problems, huh?
Just fussing. She spazzes out. Starts swinging on me and stuff like that.
Okay. It also states that you went into the bathroom, and that's where it started. At first, y'all were just arguing, but then it became physical.
Yeah, I didn't go in the bathroom on her. She was taking a bath, and I went and walked to the store and came back, and she was laying down on the couch, and she started punching on me when I walked through the front door.
Okay, did she leave? Where did she call the cops from?
She took off outside, and I don't know where she called them from. That I don't know. She took off running outside. I thought she went run to the neighbor's house or something. I don't know. She does that often.
Were you working?
I wasn't at the moment. Our truck had broke down. I wasn't working at the moment. But I'm going back when I get home. If I was to get out today, I'm going to try to get my job back at Turner.
At Turner?
At Turner, yes, sir. We're going to Turner Industries.
Okay, I have no further questions.
So, what is her name?
Megan.
What's her last name?
M-E-G Starnes.
So why do you think Megan, as you say, spazzed out on you? What made her that way?
Her and her ex. That was another reason that I got arrested, because there's so many calls to 911 of domestic from that address, because her and her ex lived in that same trailer park, and she never put charges on him or nothing. Meaning he wasn't the address, they never looked for him. So being that she had a bunch of domestics called under her name, I wasn't aware of none of this until that night whenever they brought me to jail. The cops are saying they stayed getting called out there for it. Like I was in a bad situation. I'm not from Baton Rouge. I'm from Lafayette area.
What
I met
have you
her.
done this experience?
Who I want to be single. I don't want to be around nobody. I'm gonna go home to my family, go to work, and just look out for myself for a little while. Like I've been sitting in jail for the last 5 months, just thinking every day, like,
What kind of work you did for Turner?
I was working at the pipe yard. I started off as pipe cleaner, cleaning pipe, and then within 3 weeks, I was overhead crane operator. I moved up fast, so I'm pretty sure they'd give me my job back. I would just have to take a cut and pay of what they was giving me. And I'm willing to do that if I get a chance.
Where would you live?
I'm be either at my sister's or my nanny's. My little cousin my nanny lives in Orneville, but my little cousin works at Turner. He was getting certified to be a welder.
He live?
He lives with his mama, with my nanny.
In Orneville?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? Anything you want to say to us before we vote?
I just ask for mercy. Give me one more chance to get it right. Like, man, I wish I'd have paid attention to what my family told me. Don't run off with her. Just stay home. Like, there's one more chance. Like,
well, hey, that's a lesson learned.
Yeah. When you were incarcerated previously, you took a lot of programming, didn't you?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember some of the stuff you were taught while you were taking those courses?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you take anger management?
Yes, ma'am. I do pretty good with my anger for the most part, but I'd be willing to take it again once if I'm released. I'd be willing to go to classes and everything. Like, I really would. Like,
well,
anything. Just be able to give life another try and not be stuck doing this. They got me in River Bend, the worst of the worst. Like, it's bad up here. Gets it out you.
All right, I think we're ready to vote, Mr. Freeman.
Okay,
Drew at IRL, thanks for the 5 gifted memberships.
You and this lady definitely have problems. I do believe there was a confrontation that night. I think you kind of let it down a little bit. There was no weapon used, but there was some scratches on her arms, neck, face, and a swollen lip. You also had some scratches on your head and neck. So you still trying to say it wasn't a little physical?
She kept grabbing on to me like this, and I would just push her off of me. Like, yeah, I pushed her off of me, but she was clenching on to me. Like, I don't understand why she, like, from knowing what her
lip, I think you said the swollen lip came because your hand slipped up and.
Yeah, I was trying to get her off my throat.
Trying to get her off your throat. Okay. Just tell you one of those cases that's pretty much, if I revoke you today, you're going to get right back out. Your good time date is 3/29/24, so it's almost here. And your full term date is 3/29/26. So that's not but 2 years off.
He gets out in 10 days anyway.
Can you stay away from her?
Yes, sir.
My vote today is going to be do not revoke, no contact with victim. New Iberia don't use a lot of electronic monitoring. I want electronic monitoring for the first 6 months to make sure that you go nowhere where this victim is. If you get anywhere in her vicinity, we're going to revoke. And hopefully charges. You need to learn. And I also want you to retake that anger management. Let them get you back in touch with that. Retake it and think about what you did.
I'll be going back on that end towards Lafayette area, so I'd be able to get in touch with the reentry coordinator and go through the thing in Lafayette.
Okay, let us finish voting first. This is the dude.
He's already got plans. I'm going.
Mr. Stelly, I'm glad you have a plan, but we need to decide where you're going first. So You're only a second class offender. I hope that you've learned something from this period of sitting. My vote today is to not revoke you, not because I don't think something happened, but because I think you've had enough time and you've been making some plans for doing better while you're sitting there. So you'll need to retake some anger management classes and have no contact with the victim.
All right, Mr. Stelly, I do concur with my colleagues. My vote also is do not revoke. Add the special condition, you have no contact with Megan Starnes and that you've enrolled and complete an anger management course. And your parole officer can help you get that situated.
All right.
Electronic monitoring as well for 6 months.
What's the electronic monitoring?
Like
They have it at the office. You don't pay for nothing.
Okay, monitor me over electronics, over like Facebook and things like that.
Don't go and you walk around for 6 months.
Ankle monitor.
Oh, ankle monitor?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Good luck to you, sir.
All right. Thank you.
What's the electronic monitor? You monitor my Facebook?
That's all?
Yeah, that concludes our business at River Bend. We're going to sign off at 10:06. Good luck.
All right. Thank y'all. Y'all have a blessed day.
All right. Yeah, blissfully naive. Facebook monitoring is not quite what they had in mind, but maybe they'll do that as well. So two no revokes, which means 2 people get another shot at being back on the outside and trying to get it right. I'm just picturing it. He's like, I don't know if I'm cool with you guys monitoring my Facebook or not. You know, I guess if that's what it takes for me to get out. He's like, no, we're going to be attached to your ankle 24/7 for 6 months. It's a little more than just watching your Facebook.
Courtney Meek.
Courtney, how are you doing this morning?
Hey. So husband just texted me. He's big mad. Big mad. The judge continued the trial for 2 more months. And he's recycled back into the jury pool.
Man, he was number 2. He was going to go. He was going to make it through the
As soon
questionnaire.
as they started voir dire.
Man. Back in the jury pool. Well, he'll
Back
get
in the
another
jury
shot.
pool.
He'll get another shot. Everybody but me does.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's a good thing that his job pays him for 8 hours, even though he's sitting in jury duty.
Yeah, that is good. Not a lot of jobs do that. A lot of them just, they have to hold your job for you. They can't fire you for going to jury duty. But
Right.
usually you just get the tuppence they give out at the courthouse, which is $8 a day or $20 a day or something. But
Well, he got $20 for yesterday and $60 for today. So
good. So
wonderful. I guess Grayson County's up their pay because it used to be $5 a day.
Jurors do the job that a juror does is, I realize it's a public service. It's a duty, right? It's a civic duty, I guess is what we should call it. But I think it needs to be rewarded a little bit more than, it shouldn't be something that, you get rich being a juror. Obviously, that's not the goal.
Right.
But I think it needs to be a substantially more, the payment needs to be a little higher. And what does that mean? That means the fine has to come from somebody. It's either from taxes or from somebody's fine. So the losing party pays the juror fees. No, is that something we could do? But anyway, bummer.
Well,
It was
the
too
public
bad.
defender's office has to get some of it too, and the probation officers, probation fees and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's all budgeted in somehow. But yeah, he's upset. He didn't want to do it in the first place, and then I made him watch some of Judge Boyd's jury voir dires, and he kind of got excited for a little bit.
He's going to be a junkie, a true crime junkie like the rest of us. So.
Oh, yeah, I think I've already made a monster out of him.
Does he know what case was on? Was there a big one coming up or something? Does he have any into?
It was he said it was a CPS case.
Oh man, tough one.
Yeah.
Bummer. Well, maybe next time we hope he gets a chance to serve on the next one. So if he's still in the pool.
Maybe. I think there's a couple of murder cases coming up. I'll have to look at the docket and see.
Yeah, we've got one coming up, murder one locally, and it's actually juvenile. I think they were 17 at the time. I think it's going to be moved to adult court. If it is, we're trying to get our
Adult
cameras
court,
in there.
yeah.
So I got a tip from police on that one. They reached out to me directly and said, "Hey, are you interested in following this?" I said, "Yes, I am." So we're holding tight on that one.
I don't really know what's going on around here, but there's been, I think in the last 6 months, maybe a year, there's been 5 bodies pop up in my tiny little town. So I don't really know. I know the population's growing and stuff, and there's crime everywhere anyway. But
5 bodies, it might be going down. The population.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's like I don't know if it's like gang activity or if we've got a serial killer on the loose.
Are they linked as far as, are they giving any information about the cause of death, the similar patterns? Is it a serial killer type fear?
I know the one before this last one that I just saw on the news. That was blunt force trauma. Mm-hmm. So I think that was a domestic thing. Yeah. But the one they just found down by the water treatment plant last week, I haven't heard anything else about it other than they found a body down there. So
scary. Watch your back. Stay safe. But thanks for
keeping
me
up. I work from home. I stay at home. I leave the house once a week to go to the office and go to the grocery store. That's my life.
That's about my life. When I'm not on air, that's when I leave the house. So you guys see that I'm always here. But
yeah.
But bummer. Sorry for your hubby that didn't get to get a court case this time around, but maybe soon.
I might have been a tiny bit jealous that he got called, and I didn't.
I've never got a letter. I registered for the draft when I was 18. I signed up to vote as soon as I was able to. I mean, I did everything you have to do. I got a driver's license. Every public list you could be on, I signed up for, but I've never been summoned. So
I know I got a summons shortly after I turned 18, and I got out of that one. I don't remember how. That was so long ago. That was 1999, 2000, something like that. And then I got another one when my son was small. And I got out of that one by saying I didn't have any child care, which wasn't really a lie. I mean, I probably could have found some if I dug hard enough, but I was like, I really don't want to do this.
And now you're like,
but now I'm itching to go. Now that the kids are grown, I'm itching to go.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's funny with the group we have here. Almost every week, someone's like, "Hey, got a jury summons? Just showed up. Guess what? Showed up in the mail today." It doesn't happen to me for some reason. Maybe I mean if it does, I mean honestly, if I got called to a jury trial where I don't know, it took 3-4 weeks, I answer honestly and I make the jury. That's I don't make any money if we don't live stream. It's not like people go back and watch all the old trials from old times. So it's like I can see when somebody says, this would be a financial hardship if I serve on the jury. But at the same time, I want very much to serve on the jury. So it's it's interesting. It might happen. You never know. Now we've talked about it. I'll check the mail today and there'll be a letter. So
yeah, I don't know whether to say fingers crossed or good luck or uh-oh.
Awesome. I'm reading some of the comments as well. The only list that I'm on is for travel credits. Yes. So. Well, Courtney, thanks for the call. Thanks for the update.
No problem. I just had to giggle about that with somebody that I knew would understand.
Yeah.
You and chat.
Awesome. We're going to jump back to the parole board. I think they're on the next one. We'll see you in a bit. Thanks.
Okay.
Bye.
All right, bye.
On March 19th, 2024, it's 10:14 a.m. Would the staff there at Avoyelles please introduce yourself for the record?
Unmuted.
Yes. They want the staff.
The staff. Would we have the staff introduce yourself?
Here. Lemoyne.
Good morning. I'm sorry, I didn't hear your name.
Lemoyne.
All right. Well, thanks for accommodating us this morning. We appreciate it. Is this Mr. Richard in front of us?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And I believe, do we have by Zoom Mr. Rochelle?
Yes, ma'am, that's me.
All right. Just stand by, sir. I'm gonna get to you in just a moment when we do, after we do the preliminaries. Mr. Lance, would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and DOC number.
Lance Kelly, Richard, 540294.
All right. And do you have a parole revocation question there in front of you?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I think we'll put one up on the screen for you to look at and tell us if that's you recognize that form? Oops. Stand by. We're trying to get to it.
Okay.
Too many people clicking on the screen.
It flashed away.
When they grant, usually the inmate's released within 24 hours.
Okay, there you go. Is that your signature at the bottom of that page, Mr. Richard, dated January 19th of this year?
Yes, ma'am.
And so according to that information, you're not eligible for appointed counsel. You ready to proceed this morning?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're accused of violating the conditions of your parole. I'll read the allegations against you. And then you'll enter a plea of guilty or not guilty. And then we have your parole officer who's here with us. We'll ask for their input. And then Mrs. Ledoux will be asking you some questions. It's been assigned to her. You ready?
Yes, ma'am.
You're accused of violating the conditions of parole, specifically condition number 2. It states you failed to report for Avoyelles Parish report day on a consistent basis in which you were directed to report on the first Tuesday of each month. How do you plead to violating condition number 2?
Not guilty.
Okay. Condition number 4, you have not complied with this condition of your parole, which is evident by your arrest on October 6, 2023 by the Avoyelles Parish Sheriff's Office for the alleged offense of domestic abuse battery and domestic abuse child endangerment, thereby engaging in criminal activity. You pled guilty to 2 counts of simple battery, which were misdemeanors, on December 12th, 2023 in the 12th JDC, where you were sentenced and given credit for time served. How do you plead to violating condition number 4?
Not guilty.
And then we have condition number 10. You have failed to maintain your monetary obligation ordered by the state, in which you have only made one payment on October 1st, 2022. You're currently $908 in arrears and supervision fees. How do you plead to violating condition number 10?
Guilty.
All right. And we have Mr. Drake, Rochelle. We'd like to hear your input, sir. Is there anything you'd like to say to us?
Just due to the seriousness of the charges and probable cause being found at the preliminary hearing, if you're asking for a recommendation, it would be revocation.
Okay, we appreciate you taking the time to visit with us this morning. I'm going to turn over to Mrs. Ledoux.
Mr. Richard, thank you. I'd like for you to answer these questions honestly. So you were released in August of 22, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any previous technical violations before you were arrested in October?
No, ma'am.
You didn't have a technical violation of drug use?
Technical violation of drug use?
Right.
No, ma'am, I did not.
Are they looking at different reports?
Yes, ma'am. On September 29th of 2023, marijuana was found in his residence by Agent Lyons that was supervising him at the time.
Yeah. Thought I read that.
Yes, ma'am.
So you did have a technical. Was he?
Well, I wasn't notified that it was a technical. I was told he flushed it down the toilet and told me that there's not really much he can do about that. And he left.
Okay.
Drug test man left.
So what is the charge that you're serving time on? What is the sentence related to?
Okay, so I was originally arrested for domestic abuse battery and child endangerment, which that wasn't even.
Excuse me. I'm talking about you're on parole, possession of meth, correct?
No, ma'am. possession of alzolipram, which is Xanax.
Okay, I have possession. So is this Erica Mitchell, what relationship is she to you?
She's my wife. We're married.
Okay, so
Now, yeah.
got married while you've been on probation, or parole rather.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
went to Vegas and got married.
We got married September 10th of last year.
Okay. And so how long have you been in a relationship with her?
Since August of 22.
Okay.
Since I was released, me and her have been together.
Okay.
And we have a good relationship. For the record, we have a good relationship. This is just a big misunderstanding. And I mean,
Can you explain to me how you have, she has marks on her from this misunderstanding?
ma'am, those marks were not for me. I do construction. I'm self-employed, and she comes and help me work, and she gets marks from carrying a ladder, and it's construction work. It's hard labor, and it's most definitely not for me. And she made that clear to the officer that it was not from me.
Okay, so have you ever been incarcerated in DOC custody with programming?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you have you received anger management and pre-release?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Right before I was released in August of 22.
Okay. So you pled guilty to the charges. Is that correct? Why did you plead guilty if there wasn't any?
Because my lawyer told me that misdemeanors would not violate my parole, and it'd be best to appease the court to just plead guilty and get it out the way. And that's why I did it.
We need to do some education then, because you signed your parole conditions of parole, and they clearly state no violence. Whether it happened, you pled guilty to that, correct?
Yes, ma'am. I pled guilty just to appease the court. Not because I put my hands on my wife, because I most definitely did not. I love with all my heart. I do.
Okay, so you said, are you still working for yourself when you get out? Will you go back and work for yourself?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Construction. Yes, I do construction for myself. Been doing it 20 years.
Okay. I'm going to ask my colleagues if they would like to ask some questions. Mr. Reddy, do you have any questions?
I have no questions. So where you mentioned, where is your wife today?
She's at home.
Did she know you were coming up before the parole board today?
Yes, ma'am.
I wonder why she's not here joining us.
I didn't. She didn't know that she was able to be here, because she most definitely would have been here.
Okay. Anything you'd like to say to us before we vote?
Yes, ma'am. I'd like to say that like I said, me and my wife have a good relationship, and I love her children just like mine. She helps me raise my children, and regardless of y'all revoke me or not, I'm still going home to my wife. So, and what I want to say is that we don't have a violent relationship. Every couple argues. Every couple argues from time to time. We don't put our hands on each other. We walk away and cool off, and then we come back and talk about it. And that's all that happened that day. Yes, I did. She was on the phone with her friend, and I slipped the phone out of her hand, and I broke the phone. I cracked the phone on the mirror stand, and I walked outside, and we were arguing outside, and that's when the police came. And I most definitely didn't put my hands on her, and she didn't put her hands on me.
I think that's a felony when you take the
Would you have handled
communication
that
device.
differently?
Yes, ma'am. I should have handled it differently. I should have just.
How would you have?
How would I have?
If it happened today and you were that angry, what would you do?
If it happened today and I were that angry, I would just have walked away and not broke the phone.
All right. Your defendant is the day, please. let me ask one more question, if you don't mind. Mr. Richard,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm reviewing your risk assessment, and it seems like you've had some issues with drugs. So have you ever had significant programming that would help you in that area? Because I know that you have been doing drugs since you've been on parole, evidence by
Yes, ma'am. Marijuana is
it's an illegal drug in the state of Louisiana.
yes, ma'am. But what I want to say is that it helps me, and it's not something that makes me angry or do things that I shouldn't do.
I'm not feeling a good vibe.
You're right,
from
it's
this
illegal,
one.
and I know once I go back home, I will definitely be getting back into NA and AA programs, most definitely, because I went all the times that I went, I did good and I stayed away from everything. And then in September, when we got married, I used again that afternoon, and I kind of started using marijuana again after that. And before that, I was going to NA every week, and I stayed sober.
So does your wife smoke with you? So, I mean, it makes it okay.
No. We were arguing because she flushed it down the toilet, and she was telling her friend that he's still using, and I pulled the phone out of her hand and I broke the phone.
So we need to address this issue.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
You think NA is going to be the answer?
Most definitely. When I'm out there and I have a sponsor and I go every week, I stay sober.
Okay. So would you, are you going to comply if I ask for enhanced drug testing for you?
Most definitely. Yes, ma'am. I'll comply.
Okay, that's so today my vote is going to be to do not revoke, but I'm going to ask for every other week drug testing, and that you get involved in the NA program.
Yes, ma'am. Most definitely will.
Mr. Freeman?
My vote is going to be the same, except I want exactly 3 AA meetings a week. And I agree with Mr. Ledoux's other recommendation.
Mr. Richard, I do agree.
Guys, we've got a spam call. Sorry.
My vote is do not revoke.
We're going to pause that. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
This is Ashley, your health center representative. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
I'm calling because the updated plans for Medicare have just been released, and it may give you some better access to things like dental, vision, hearing, and over-the-counter benefits.
Okay.
Now, I believe you do have Medicare Part A and B, correct?
Yes, I have A and B. I just need Part C.
Okay, this is all the information that I need for my side to check your eligibility, and it does look like you qualify. I'm going to go get a licensed agent to get you some more details.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Henry. How are you?
Hey, Henry. I'm doing okay. Hello? What did I do?
What I'll do is I'll oppose it, but I'll give him the discretion that if they don't find it necessary.
Oh my goodness. What did I do? Sorry, that was my phone playing a video there at the end. Why do they what do I need a voice changer? We'll go back to this.
Submit to the enhanced drug testing and the 3 AA or NA meetings each. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank y'all.
He hung up on me.
Congratulations, bro.
He got out.
Yeah,
Make it, I'm gonna make it.
yeah, definitely gonna make it.
You ain't gonna lie, I was looking at that door like, why is this dude saying this? Yeah.
What?
Huh?
Well, I'm not saying about the drugs. It's no,
Yeah.
you gotta tell them that you're gonna get help out there.
Yeah.
Because they want to get you help in here. Need help out there.
My charges got dismissed. You tapped out, you pled guilty. I'm pleading not guilty.
And it's yours, whatever.
Oh my goodness. They can hear him. They could hear him. Oh, wow. Wow. So he gave advice to the next guy who's about to go. Got to tell him you need help out there, not in here. The guy's like, I couldn't believe you were telling what you'd said. Jamie, I think that's what we just heard. We just heard that he snowed them. I'm going to go back and listen to that really quickly. Hang on. Let's rewind just a bit here. Here we go.
And I agree with Mr. Ledoux's other recommendation.
Mr. Richard, I do agree. My vote is do not revoke. Submit to the enhanced drug testing and the 3 AA or NA meetings each. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank y'all.
Like, yeah.
Congratulations, bro.
Yeah,
Make it, I'm gonna make it.
yeah, definitely gonna make it.
You ain't gonna lie, I was looking at that door like, why is this dude saying this? Yeah.
What?
Huh?
Well, I'm not saying about the drugs. It's no,
Yeah.
you gotta tell them that you're gonna get help out there.
Yeah.
Because they want to get you help in here. Need help out there.
My charges got dismissed. You tapped out, you pled guilty. I'm pleading not guilty.
And it's yours, whatever.
And then they cut the mic. You've got to tell them you need help out there, not in here. They want to get you help in here. Let's see if we can go live here.
538-568.
Missed it just barely. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Would the staff please introduce yourself for the record?
Lemoyne.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Thank you. All right, sir. And would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name.
Good morning. I'm Brent Allen Kern, 538-568.
Okay, stand by. I got to get your record. Yes, Mr. Kern. Let's see.
Jail advice is always bad advice when it comes to the law. So,
Mr. Kern.
Yeah, stand by. We had another name. Let's get you.
there's a ton of jailhouse lawyers. Everybody's got advice for your case.
All right, Mr. Kern, do you have a parole revocation questionnaire there with you?
No, ma'am.
All right, we're gonna put it up on the screen for you, sir. Do you recognize that form?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that your signature at the bottom of that page, dated January 30th of this year?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, so based on that information, you're not eligible for appointed counsel this morning. So are you ready to proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to read the allegations against you, after which you'll enter a plea of guilty or not guilty, and then we'll have a conversation. Your case has been assigned to Mr. Freeman, so he'll take the lead on the parole interview. I'm trying to get to the right form. Okay, it's under A.
That's under A?
Yeah,
Okay.
so the question is, so you're accused of violating the conditions of your parole, Mr. Kern, specifically condition number 4. And it states that you committed the offense of domestic abuse battery with child endangerment, which is a felony, which led to your arrest September 28, 2023 by Beauregard Parish Sheriff's Office. These charges were pled down to disturbing the peace, and you pled guilty to disturbing the peace on December 20th, 2023. On January 29th, 2024, the court allowed the guilty plea of disturbing the peace on 2020-23 to be withdrawn, and the charge was dismissed. So how do you plead to violating condition number 4?
Not guilty.
Okay, and then we have condition number 10, which states you have arrearages of $882 in supervision fees. How do you plead?
Guilty.
Okay. So would you answer Mr. Freeman's questions, please? First, let me acknowledge that we do have your mother, Ms. Kate Hearn, who's on Zoom, and we'll ask for her comments at the appropriate time.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, Mr. Kern, tell me what happened that day. Tell me what went on between you and Maitland?
Madeline.
Madeline. Okay. And her mother was there, or your mother was there?
My mother.
Your mother. Okay. So tell me what happened. What went on?
Well, it started, we were in the kitchen at my mother's house, and it was just a little family argument, just a little dispute, nothing major, just a little misunderstanding. And she asked me to leave, and I refused. I said, no, I'm not going to leave. And she just kind of, she kind of came at me, and I just put my hands up like this. It was like, calm down, chill out. We all just need to take a breath. And I went upstairs and took a shower. When I came out, 2 deputies were there. They handcuffed me, put me in the unit outside for about 30 minutes, took me to jail, said that they would take a statement, but they never took a statement from me. They just booked me in, and that was it. I've been here since.
You and Madeline still in a relationship?
No, that was my niece. That was a family member.
It better not be.
Okay, do you still see her? Talking?
I don't. I mean, I would if I was home. I mean, I don't see her.
You haven't talked to her since you've been in jail?
I've talked to her once. Yeah, I've talked to her. We have spoke.
Okay, and neither her or your mother, are they here today?
My mother is, I believe.
Okay. She's going to testify on your behalf?
From my understanding.
I hope so. Lots of misunderstandings.
And in this fight, did you throw things?
No, there was a cup thrown, but I didn't throw the cup. The cup was thrown at me. And it was just a cup. That's where the child endangerment came in, I believe. But I don't know why they say I threw it. But I'm going to say this. The arresting officer, I believe, was Deputy Trey James. Okay, he's got it out for me. That sheriff's department, there's certain officers there from my past drug usage, and I would wheel and deal with drugs in the past. That's why they have it out for me.
Okay,
I never gave a statement on this. I was never any of that. I mean, they told me at the sheriff's department I would be allowed to give my side of the story. I would be allowed to give a statement. I was never given that opportunity.
You have the opportunity today. So your statement is that you did not throw a cup.
I did not hit Madeline, and I'm pretty sure I didn't throw a cup.
Okay. Yeah, you say your hand may have traveled to her face when you were pushing her off.
Who said that?
That's what you said.
When did I say that?
Madeline threw a jar. Kern said that he pushed Madeline off him. I asked him how he pushed her, and he demonstrated with both his hands. Kern said that one of his hands might have hit Madeline in the face. Y'all went back to court yesterday, and you have no pending charges.
No, sir. I have no charges.
Okay, I'm not asking that. So you saying you didn't hit her in the face and
No, sir, I didn't hit her in the face.
then you didn't throw a jaw?
No, sir.
Ricky, thanks for the year of support. The jar threw itself, apparently.
Okay, you got a temper problem?
Yeah, I'm probably not a bad one, but I do have I got a little temper, but I'm not a violent person. I don't hit people. I don't swing at people. I don't hit the opposite sex of the human race or none of that.
Okay, and I'm gonna ask you this the last time. Did you throw a baby jaw?
No, sir, I did not throw a baby jaw.
Okay, then if your mother said that, she was lying.
I mean, I didn't throw a baby jar. I'm not gonna call anybody a liar, but I will tell you I did not throw a baby jar, sir.
Okay, I have no further.
Mom's here.
Questions? How long have you been incarcerated on this incident?
5.5 months.
I'm reviewing your file and I'm seeing something here that I'm not sure I understand. In 9 of 2023, did you receive a, okay, that's this instant charge. When did this incident occur? It was in September?
Yes, ma'am. September of 23.
Okay.
I've been here ever since.
File, it sounds like you might have an anger problem.
Yes, ma'am.
And it might be that you need some help for that. Have you ever been incarcerated within Department of Corrections and gone through any programming?
Yes, ma'am. I've taken the anger management program.
Graduated top of my class.
DeQuincy, so Southwest Louisiana, the work release in DeQuincy and the one in West Feliciana. All they did was give you a pamphlet, tell you to fill it out. I think I also did it at Catahoula Parish too. You fill out the pamphlet, give it back to the lady. But as far as taking a class,
I passed.
And sitting there and actually a learning experience, no, ma'am.
Okay. I have no other question at this time.
You mentioned that you don't hurt others. You acknowledged you have an anger issue.
Yes, ma'am.
You don't hurt others.
I'm not.
You seem to have a history of tearing things up, destroying things. Would you say that's an accurate statement?
Yes, ma'am. Like cell phones. Cell phones. I break a lot of cell phones.
This thing against cell phones.
In anger?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I don't see that we have any other questions. We'd like to hear from your mother, Mrs. K. Kern. Ma'am, we'd like to hear from you.
You're on mute. You're muted, ma'am. I can't hear you.
There we go. That better?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I did send in a statement just stating that it was just basically a family dispute. My granddaughter and her daughter, my great-granddaughter, had to move back into our home in July of 2023 because she was being abused. And so she kind of likes to run things, and she's very mouthy and doesn't understand that you can't just provoke things. And she got involved in a conversation that didn't even involve her, and things just went south. I was sitting at the bar in my kitchen feeding my great-granddaughter, and I had my back turned. I did hear a baby food jar fly across the room. It didn't come anywhere close to hitting any of us, but I don't know. She said she didn't throw it. I don't know. I guess it just flew through the air on its own. I'm not sure, but I did not see anything at that point. It was a very heated conversation. She tends to get people pretty wound up. Sometimes I have to put 2 locked doors between the two of us. But yeah, I just hope that this is not going to cost him another 4 or 5 years of incarceration, because it was a very heated, family dispute. That's all it was. And of course, with his background and being on parole, he's going to take took the heat for it. And he's been in there pretty much close to 6 months. Now, she did a statement too, or so she said she did, because she's regretting the whole deal. And we did tell her, you can either participate or send a statement. She said she sent a statement. I have not seen it. And she couldn't participate because she works at a CPA office in Moss Bluff, and it's tax time and it's crazy busy.
Does she still live in your household?
She does. She's looking for a place. She wants to get moved back to Lake Charles because she works down there and the baby goes to daycare there. And so she's looking for a place, but we had to temporarily move her back home. So.
Okay. Well, thank you, ma'am. We appreciate your participation and your remarks this morning.
All right. Thank you.
Mr. Kern, is there anything you'd like to say to us before we vote?
Yes, ma'am. I just would like to say that, if I were to be released or reinstated, that if I would seek further help on anger management,
on the outside,
if that's available, I would be willing to take classes, or what is it, the mental health, maybe anything, whatever. Sure. Anything I could do that, would help, I would be willing to do such thing.
All right. Thank you, sir. Here we go.
I asked for executive session.
We have a motion for executive session. Second that.
That means
do a roll call, please.
Roll call, Cheryl Renassa.
Yes.
Pete Freeman.
Yes.
Jerry Ledoux.
Yes. Mr. Kern, we're going to be in executive session for a few moments to discuss confidential matters. We'll be right back. Just stand by.
Yes, ma'am.
So they're going to go in the side room and discuss how they're going to vote. Is he going to talk to his mom? Can they see each other? No, they can't see each other. Why is this different? Okay, we're waiting for them to come back. Usually it doesn't take long. They're going to probably talk about the vote, which means that probably one of them feels like not voting or voting to revoke, which would mean he would stay. I don't know in his case if he needs 2 yeses or 3 yeses to get out, but we'll find out here in just a minute. The baby jar is a flying baby jar. He says, "Yeah, on the outside, if you release me, I'm going to go and I'll take that anger management class again. I already know the answers to the worksheet that you fill out, and then you're done. So I'll just do that again, because that'll help, like it did the last 2 times." How long would he stay if he kept him there? I think he's got 4 to 5 years based on what his mom said. So these are all people who have been convicted of a crime, and then they've been let out on parole. And as terms of the parole, they have to do certain things. They have to check in. They have to go to AA classes. They have to get a job. Whatever the rules are for their parole. It's unique to each situation. And for one reason or another, or sometimes for multiple reasons, they have violated that parole, or have been charged with violating a parole. A lot of times, anytime you're involved in a criminal situation, that's a violation, and you just get sent back to jail, and you can be sent back for the remainder of your sentence. So they're sent back. They've done 5 months. Most of these people have done 5-6 months since they were arrested again and sent back on this because it was a parole violation. Now they're going before the parole board saying, hey, I'm going to plead my case. This is why what happened shouldn't put me back in jail. And so far, the parole board's been quite lenient and allowing people back out. But the mom said 4 to 5 years. She hopes this doesn't put him back for 4 to 5 years. So one of them has an ankle monitor. That's common. Classes on the outside, also very common. That is one of the things that does help people to lower recidivism rates, which is where they end up back in jail again. So when they could have a support system, a support. Who's that? Who's that? I don't think Louisiana's a 3-strike state because the last guy was on his 4th strike and they let him go. Amber says, I'm confused why keeping him with no charges and why they couldn't have had an attorney facing that much time. A couple things. Keeping him with no charges, the charges, he was convicted earlier and he was given a sentence, and they've lessened that sentence as long as he follows these rules. So it's not the new charges they're worried about, it's the previous charges and the rules of that release that were violated. That's why there's no charges. As far as the attorney goes, that probably is a financial thing where they disclose the available revenue or available cash they have, whether they're indigent or not. And if they're not indigent, then they are not given a free attorney. They'd have to pay for their own. Favorite color. I do like purples and greens and blues. Not a lot of bright colors unless it's like fluorescent orange, and then I only wear it on like Halloween for my jail escape hoodie. Yeah, mostly darker colors. Blue, red, green. I like a lot of the light blue stuff. Has to be the same charge 3 times. I don't know in Louisiana. Turquoise is good. Blue, purple, green. Reds, yellows, pinks. Thanks, Nosy Rosie. I used to wear a lot of black. Oh, they might be coming back here.
All right, Mr. Kern, we're back in regular session and we are prepared to vote, and Mr. Freeman will be voting first.
Okay, Mr. Kern, in my opinion, you do have a severe mental problem. Not a severe mental problem. You have an anger problem.
Yes, sir.
You're flying off the handle pretty quick. But today we're gonna give you a chance. We're gonna give you 6 months in the Steve Hall program, where they will give you your anger management and drug treatment. 2, while you're there, and then after the end of the 6 months, if you complete the program satisfactorily, you'll be released. On release, your special conditions will be to stay away from the victim as much as possible. Hopefully she'll have moved out of your mother's house by then. And I want a curfew of 9 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Okay. Mrs. Ledoux.
Mr. Kern, we are to be concerned about public safety, but my also concern is to have an offender and go back into society better than when they went in. And so I am going to concur with Mr. Freeman. I would like to send you directly to the Steve Boyle program for some substance abuse and anger management programming. And then I would like for you to have minimal contact with your victim. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So, revocation. That's my vote.
All right, Mr. Kern, I do agree. In lieu of revocation, you're going to go to the Steve Boyle program. I'm sure you've heard of it and are familiar with it, and that's to get you some more substance abuse treatment along with anger management. And then after release, you're to have no contact, or limited contact with Madeline Kern, and then you'll have a curfew from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. Got it?
Ma'am.
You understand all that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you'll be transferred as soon as possible. Good luck to you, Mr. Kern.
Thank you.
That concludes our business at Avoil, so we're going to sign off at 10:54. Thanks for helping us out today.
Mr. Kern's all frustrated. He's like, man, what did I say wrong?
Fucking Shreveport, Plains. I done been there before, man. This place is a fucking joke. 6 months and no charges.
Hot mic again. I don't think he's happy. I don't think he's happy with the results. Yeah. Yes, they can see that. They're still on Zoom. They're still on Zoom. They can hear. Oh man, and his mom heard that too, I think. So he's I was saying he's probably thinking, man, what did I say wrong? The last guy said the same thing and he got out. What did I say wrong? Apparently he has a problem with phones, cell phones particularly. He breaks phones, and that's an anger issue that he doesn't think was a big deal. The parole board thinks it is a big deal, so he's getting sent to another facility for anger management for 6 months, and then if he completes that successfully, then he's out, which is good. 6 months compared to 2 to 4 years. He wanted to get out today. That's what he wanted, but he hasn't really put in the effort to make the changes that would make the parole board comfortable with letting him go. Baby jars, be on the lookout. Notice of internet availability of shareholder report. Oh, yay. My little boy who got me the omelet this morning, made me the omelet, was a member in a class action lawsuit. Apparently, back in when he broke his arm as a kid, jumping off the upper bunk of the bunk bed, he was jumping over the railing and landing on the ground and showing how he could do that to his brothers and sisters. And he didn't jump high enough and cut his toes on the top of the bunk, so it pitched him forward, broke his arm. Anyway, the fees they charged us for the broken arm stuff. This is years and years ago. Okay, I'm not even sure if he remembers having a cast on, but the fees they charged us for his X-rays, there was something about it that was wrong. The medical company did wrong, and they charged way too much, or did some sort of price fixing to charge more than they needed to, or something. And so they admitted, basically, were admitting that there was a problem, and they said they sent something, and it was the weirdest. It's the weirdest class action lawsuit I've ever seen. Because it was one of those, if you don't opt out, you're part of the group. And so we didn't opt him out, because usually I get notices like, you could be a member of a class action lawsuit. If successful, you might be entitled to $3.23 after lawyer's fees. Anyway, we didn't opt him out, and we got a check the other day in the mail for like $300. And I'm like, whoa, I guess we won the case. But he's very excited about that. But I told him that since it wasn't his money, it was the family money, they actually split it amongst all the kids. So anyway, I'm not sure why I said that because I got some weird filing. But it's just weird filing in the mail. Anyway, nice payout. Not worth it. We paid a lot more than that for the broken arm. I'm just saying it cost a fortune. Be sure to let the accountant know. We were on the phone with the accountant last night, hammering out some details, trying to figure out how to not go to jail when the IRS comes knocking. See, but he suffered. He didn't. He was the calmest kid ever. It was like me when I broke my arm. I went into my mom after my brother had launched me. My brother was laying on his back, and I sat on his feet, and he launched me across the room at where we'd put the mattress, but I missed the mattress, and I landed on my arm. Broke my arm, and so it was bent funny, and my right arm. And I went into my mom, and my arm's bent, and it's like I have two elbows, right? And I'm saying, Mom, my arm feels funny, and she's, everyone else is almost passing out because my arm looks funny, and but I didn't. I guess I was in shock, but I never cried. And then everything that ever happened to me in life since then, Where as a kid I cried because I was hurt. They're like, whatever, you snapped your arm in half and didn't cry. Why are you crying about this, you big baby? So I guess, anyway. All right. So little RA learned from big RA. Yes, that's how it happened. It comes around and I get it coming back to me, what I dished out. Is that the day she bought you a cactus? No, it was a few years before. Broke my arm when I was little, very, very little. It was probably his age. Man, that's funny. My daughter fell off the monkey bars, broke her elbow. Oh, 2nd degree. Next week they took down the monkey bars. They took down the cherry drop bar, the little bar you can swing and do cherry drops from. We called them cherry drops when I was in elementary school because a girl fell and cracked her spine, like her vertebrae. Childhood friend fractured my arm by jumping on my lap while I was sitting on my hands. Oh, ouch. I had the same story, but I lied to my mom about how it happened. Didn't want to get in trouble. Niezy's like, you cried over a cactus today. I did, but it was my cactus. I had it for 32 years. Loved the cactus story. Thank you. I thought I'd share that. I saw it during the night and thought, oh, you guys might like that. Was her name Cherry? No. I thought cherry drop is like the move that we called it as a kid. And that's when you've got the little horse, you got the high bar and the low bar. It's on the high bar and you pull yourself up and you sit on it. You like loop one knee over and then you like fall back and you catch yourself with your leg. But she didn't catch herself. She just landed on her head. Paula Mack, that cactus went to a good home. Forrest is an amazing friend. It's probably living its best life right now. Uneven parallel bars. They're not. No. The uneven parallel bars are it's like that's a gymnast thing where they flip back and forth between the bars. These ones are one's higher than the other, but they're in line. They're literally like from the top down. It's one continuous line, so you can't launch yourself from one to the other. It's either you're on one or the other. That's it. We also had a witch's hat. Oh my goodness! If you haven't lived until you've played on a witch's hat. A witch's hat is it's a torture device invented by some crazy person. I think I can't tell exactly when, but it was probably during World War II or something. But it's a metal pole in the middle. The metal pole goes up, I don't know, like 15, 20 feet. And then imagine the frame of a Christmas tree. If you built the frame out of, I don't know, 1.5 inch pipe, the frame of a Christmas tree. So you've got the center pivot on top of the pole and it just swings, but the outside, the tree part, can just roll around and spin and rock back and forth. And there's an inner ring and an outer ring. If you hold the inner ring, your hands get crushed and it just severs your fingers when it hits against the pole. So you don't hold that one, you hold the outer ring. But then people can spin it like a merry-go-round until people just fly off into, the swing or the slide or anything else, or, onto the cement. Or you can like rock it back and forth. I don't know who thought this up, but we had it at our elementary school, and we called it a witch's hat toy. Wow, it kept the population down. We called it the cone, and it was amazing. Some of you remember that. Nowadays, you can barely find a merry-go-round. They're so dangerous, but. Tell you the one thing I want now, that the new toy they came out with that's about the most dangerous thing you can find is one of these. It's a wheel. Imagine a flat surface of a wheel that's textured so you can like stand on it, but the whole top pivots and it's on a slant. So the wheel turns, but the base is always fixed, so it's always a set slant. And if you try to crawl up to the top, it like puts you back down at the bottom. And there are ways you can run up it and stand and surf as it's spinning around. You can find those nowadays, but witches' hats are out. The pole with a ball tied to it, and you hit the ball so it wraps around the pole. That was tetherball. Man, if you haven't been hit in the face with a tetherball, you did not go to elementary school. in the early 70s or early 80s. I loved it. The cone. Got first degree burns from metal slide in elementary school. Cheryl, I can still hear the sound of skin burning and ripping off my legs as I slid down a scalding hot metal slide. You can not just scald your skin, but the reflection of the sunlight off that mirror finish could blind you. So many ways to die on the playground as a child. Have a merry-go-round from the city park in my backyard. Also the jungle gym from the same park. Angela, I think our next big trial that's coming up is the Robert Tellis trial, accused of killing an investigative journalist. He's set for early next week, I think Tuesday next week.
All right, good morning. Committee on Parole is reconvening. We're at East Baton Rouge Parish Prison. It is March 19th, 2024, and it is 11:05 a.m. Would the staff at EBR please introduce yourself for the record?
Yes, ma'am. Sergeant Mayberry, Central Booking.
Right, and this is Mr. Banks. Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yourself, tell us your name and DOC number, please, sir.
My name is Wade Jermaine Banks. My DOC number is 477-704.
All right, Mr. Banks, do you have a parole application questionnaire there in front of you?
Yes, ma'am.
That's your signature at the bottom of that page, dated February 1st of this year?
Ma'am.
Okay, good. That's the one I have. I just wanted to be sure that's your signature and you answered those questions. According to the answers to those questions, you're not eligible today for
Gets bonus points because he brought his homework.
With your parole revocation hearing.
Ma'am.
I'll read the allegations against you, Mr. Banks, after which you'll enter a plea guilty, not guilty, and then we'll have a conversation about it. Okay? Ready?
No.
You were accused of violating condition number 4, and that states that you were engaged in criminal activity by your arrest on or about December 27, 2023 by the Baton Rouge Police Department for the offense of domestic abuse battery. You dealt with simple assault, a city court docket that was later dismissed on or about January 25th, 2024. So how do you plead to violating condition number 4?
Not guilty.
And condition number 5, which states you are in possession of a firearm as documented by the arrest report by the Baton Rouge Police Department. How do you plead to violate condition number 5?
Not guilty.
I'm sorry, what did you say, sir?
Not guilty.
And I'm getting some background noise.
Yeah, perfect.
Oh, much better. Thank you very much. And then we have condition number 10. You failed to make supervisory payments to the Office of Probation and Parole, and you're currently $630 in arrears. How do you plead to number 10?
Guilty.
All right, sir. Mr. Banks, your case has been assigned to me, so I'll interview. I want you to tell us, I've reviewed the record. The record's been made available to all of us, so you tell us what happened. You pled not guilty to the domestic abuse scene. What happened that day?
That was the day we had something going on at our house, me and my wife, and we just got into like a little verbal argument, and things just went kind of left with me and my wife, and we were just arguing. We was arguing about the kids.
Well, so why'd you get arrested if that's all that happened?
I don't even know. I mean, but my wife, she had wrote a statement on her. My wife had wrote a statement on her end. It's supposed to be on my phone.
I'm sorry. What did you say?
See, my wife had wrote a statement on her end to let to say what was going on, Cause I mean, I don't see how, I came to, get locked up. Cause it was just a verbal argument.
Did you break the microwave? Did you break the microwave?
Ma'am?
Did you break the microwave?
Oh, no, ma'am. It was when I was put on getting my belongings. The microwave was right there, and my bag just hit it.
So y'all were breaking up?
Oh, no, ma'am. Oh, we married.
Yeah, why were you getting your belongings?
I mean, just so I could just go down to my mama's house and just chill for a minute, just to let things blow over. Because we had gotten to a heated argument.
You're still married to it?
Quandella?
Quandella is her name?
Yes, ma'am.
Still married?
Yes, ma'am. She's supposed to have been on the
She called in earlier, but we couldn't get back in touch with her to try to tell her it's time. She did check in earlier this morning, indicated she wanted to speak, but we're not able to reach her now. So did you take her firearm?
Oh, no, ma'am. That what they were saying, but that what she wrote the statement on. Because when my belongings were packed already, it was already in there. So by the time when she was telling, when she called and told me it was there, I was already at my mom's house.
Well,
but
then
I didn't have knowledge that it was in my.
Report indicates that you said you took it for safety.
Oh, no, ma'am.
Why'd you tell the police that?
I didn't tell the police that.
When you say you have my records, you have the records of what I said to the police too? Who somebody's?
They found it in your pocket of your jacket.
I didn't even get.
And they contacted you again, and they said that you stated you removed the gun from the bedroom for the safety of yourself, and you didn't want her to get a hold of it.
Oh, no, ma'am. Because, I mean, that's the case. I mean, he would have charged me. I mean, if I'd have had the gun in my possession, I would have had a charge because I was a convicted felon.
Well, the fact that it was in the house is problematic. Period. And then I see another Cameron Parish incident in 2021 that involved a firearm, and that's what you're doing time for now, isn't it?
No, ma'am, that's still open.
Possession.
My parole officer, my parole officer had locked me up for it, and I had to go down there and make bond.
No, what I mean was, why are you on supervision in the first place?
For parole?
Yeah.
For possession of cocaine and a possession of a firearm.
That's what I was getting at. I mean, I see that was a problem for you earlier. Why do you think your wife's not here today?
No, I mean, she was trying to. I mean, we had kids. She probably had went.
Yeah.
Took them to school and stuff. And that's.
What were y'all arguing over?
The kids' toys.
The kids' toys. Look what happened to you. What about
it was really over.
Were you arguing over the rental car?
Huh?
There's some in reference to a rental car. You were arguing over a car?
For the kids?
No, it didn't say anything about the kids. You were arguing over a rental vehicle. You don't remember that? You wanting to use the rental vehicle because your regular vehicle was in the shop.
Oh, just for the to move the toys. I mean, she's saying that they was too young for a gas moped, and she was thinking that they were gonna hurt themselves on a gas moped. So I was just gonna take them and bring them with me, cause I know how my kids is. They was gonna get on and ride, and she was gonna get even worse. She was gonna get mad at her about it. She wanted them with electric, but I rather the little small gas moped for us. We was already struggling with bills. So I mean, we'd have got the electric one. The light bill probably would have went up even higher, trying to keep them charged.
That's true.
We were struggling with bills,
behind on your feet?
So we bought my kids a gas moped.
And the job that we was at the rubber plant, I was there for a little minute, and something happened at the job, and they laid us off from there. Well, the dude got his hand stuck in the mill machine, and they laid us off from there. I had my parole officer. He already knew about that because it was one of his clients too, and I got kind of laid off on that end, and me trying to take care of them and bills, I was gonna pay it off on tax though. I mean, I was gonna catch up on tax when tax season came. But I wound up in here.
Who's going to catch up on his bills with a tax refund? Instead, he bought a gas moped.
I sure
for his
wish
kids.
your wife was here today that I could speak with Miss Kawandala.
She wrote a statement when they came and seen me, my parole officer.
I don't see that.
Yeah, she wrote a statement to
I don't see. You have any questions? How long you been?
Hey, was that gun, so it was supposed to be located in the top of her closet?
Yeah, but she had
usually kept?
Yeah, but she had the jacket on that day when it was in the jacket pouch. Cause we were sharing a jacket.
Okay. I'm just asking. It's normally in the top of the closet.
Yeah.
Did the officer tell you you're supposed to be not where you could get a gun? I mean, if they got a gun, it should be locked up or brought to a father's house. They never told you that?
No, sir.
Because that gun's in the own bedroom that you sleeping in. It's not like it's not accessible to you.
No, but I mean, she had the gun. That's why she had wrote the statement.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Banks, anything you didn't have any questions, Mrs. Ledoux? Is there any statement you'd like to make to us before we vote?
Yes, ma'am. I was looking at for my hearing. I even got a revocation hearing for the same thing too, from a probation.
Right, you do have a sentence. And that's set for April. Right? That's set for April?
Yeah, I was trying to see how can I was gonna be on probation and parole if it was for the same thing.
Happy birthday, Kenny.
That's what the judge sentenced you to. I have no control over that. Anything else you want to say to us about the allegations of violating your parole?
Oh, no.
Okay. All right, Mr. Banks.
It's not going good.
I'm struggling with the firearm. You're doing time for possession of a firearm. You're a third offender. There's a previous warrant in Cameron Parish in 2021 for possession of a firearm. You did, and today you admitted you had, there was a firearm in the residence. It was located in the bedroom where you sleep. And you did in your statement to police say you took it from her for protection. My vote today, based on those circumstances, is to revoke your parole. Mrs. Ledoux?
My vote is to revoke based on a felon having a firearm under parole.
Mr. Freeman?
I concur.
All right, Mr. Banks, today your parole's being revoked. You'll have the opportunity to reapply when you're eligible to do so. We'll send you information on how to do that.
What did she say? Oh, being revoked. Let me get that girl. I'll let you know. They gonna send me something.
And he brought his homework and everything. Yeah, he looks confused. He looked like he was planning on a different outcome. Revoked means that the bond, the parole is gone. See, the opportunity to be out early has been revoked, and now he gets to stay in for the rest of his sentence, or at least until he is eligible to apply again. So. This is sad. This is really sad. We've got another case coming up from the same place. The reason they revoked him on this one is because he's a felon. He's in there for a firearms charge. He was a felon with the firearm, and that's why he was in there in the first place. He's not allowed to have one, and then he was arrested again and had a firearm in his possession. Said, "Oh, I didn't know it was in my bag." It was my girlfriend's or my wife. She had it in the room where he slept. All of those were violations. All of those are reasons that they should have revoked his parole. So I think their hands were tied on that one. He has to comply. All right, it's about lunchtime. Let me take a quick peek to see if anybody else is running some cases we can follow. Interesting news in the Hannah Gutierrez case, the Rust trial. They're asking for an emergency hearing to have the whole trial redone. I think it has to do with the comments about the breathing tube. Mrs. R.A. is not in the room. She's teaching the kids school right now. I think she's reading to them right now. Let's see. See who else is live. Cedric's live. Got the parole board. Got a phone call.
Call from Ryan Apple Snapple.
Ryan, how are you doing?
Good. You got a delivery today.
Okay.
Well, you didn't. Mrs. R.A. did.
Mrs. R.A. does. Okay. I happen to know what it is, so I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a matched pair for this guy right here, but for her. So I'm looking forward to it. We'll run and check it out at lunch.
All right. You have a good day.
Thank you. We'll see you, Ryan. Bye. Ryan sent us the Sherduck or Detected Duck. I'm not sure what we're going to call him yet. We probably need to vote on that. Someone is sitting in the chair. You can actually hear. Yeah, someone's sitting in the chair. You can hear the other duck, the RA duck. The kids are running around the house squeezing it. So I imagine it will find its way back in here shortly. But Duck Tracy. Ooh, that's a good name, Thomas. Duck Tracy.
Call from Angela.
Hey, Angela, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Well, I just wanted to make a comment on the case. I wanted to call earlier, but I was traveling. This was not really a good time to call in. And on regarding the tenant's case in Judge Simpson's court.
Yes.
Well, if you thought that, without going into deep because it's still ongoing, if you thought that she was obnoxious and everything else, well, you should probably, she's like nothing in comparison to tenants that we have right now.
You're not making me very excited to be sort of a landlord with Airbnb. I'm hoping I don't get any bad ones.
Well, tip is do a very thorough background check. Trust me. Like, I don't know if you can, I don't know how it works in U.S., but if you can see maybe if they have any debts or stuff like that, because we might have skipped on that. And I mean, we did as far as we could, but we did not do deep enough. And well, that was a big mistake.
Oh, no.
Let's just put it that way.
And it takes a lot of work to get them evicted, right?
Oh, well, that's one way to put it. Let's just say we are in the process.
Man, that's no fun. I am sorry. Usually it ends up with, when you finally get them evicted, then there's a lot of damages and, all the lost revenue and, yeah, not fun.
Unfortunately, I can't talk too much because it's still ongoing, and I have no idea if they even they watch this. So I'm not gonna go. Let's talk about it when this whole case is
when
done,
it's all
okay?
over. You can spill the beans. Thank you, Angela. I'm sorry you're going through that though.
Yeah. But what was the other thing? Yeah. But I wanted to talk about that, and also regarding the cactus, I have actually had before cactuses, more than one. They're actually nice to have. So maybe you should change your mind.
Get another cactus.
They're not that bad. Yeah, they're not that bad.
I wasn't very good to my cactus.
To find the
and
right one.
It treated me nicely, other than poking me. But
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank
all
you
right.
so much.
Thank you, Angela. I'll think about getting a cactus.
Bye.
We'll see you. Bye.
Yeah. See you. Bye-bye.
All right. I think we're going to think about going to lunch. It's 12:30. I'm just checking to see what's up. Need to make a poll for the duck name. I think we'll do that. We might do it on the podcast. Thurston can't. Oh, whoa. Thurston? What's Thurston up to? Just one second. Which district, Josh? Is it? See how long they've been live. Let's back up here. We're 15 minutes late to court here, but let's go to. Oh man, I want this one. Hang on. Back up.
I do. It's Mr. Springer.
Okay, Adam Springer. And is Mr. Springer present?
I'm appearing under 3-4 this morning, Your Honor, with authority to do so.
Okay, thank you. And what are we doing in Mr. Springer's case?
This is a defense motion to continue for further investigation, negotiation. I just emailed a waiver of speedy trial, hopefully to the right email. It was the one I got from Mr. Rubenstein that he used this morning, so I'm hoping it is.
All right.
But essentially, setting a new commencement date of May 7th with an expiration of August 5th to accommodate a continuance of the dates.
Okay, thank you.
And Your Honor, just for the record, the state does not object to the continuance. We were prepared to confirm today if necessary, but this is the first trial confirmation. So the state does not object to a continuance at this time.
All right. Brenda, Janice.
And the email I used was TCDC.
Yeah, we got it. We confirmed it's here.
Excellent.
And I'll give you some new court dates here in just a moment.
All right.
The garbage truck is outside and it's a day early. That's not good.
Did you put in the GNS? We'll do on these, all the continuances, we'll do that.
This doesn't sound terribly exciting here. Another live. Let me just check and see if anyone else is. Let's try District 1. District Court International. Let's try District 2. Everybody's live up there.
All right, this looks like the second trial set.
I think we're going to go to District 2.
Resetting trial second time, I guess it's probably a better way to say it. I'll look.
She started.
I think all of them started about 15 minutes ago because court just began.
County District Court is now in session. Judge Meyer presiding.
You can be seated. Ms. Kamari, you popped up on my screen first. So do you have cases that are ready?
Yes, Your Honor. Miss Gatman is present in the courtroom.
That you, ma'am, come up and take a seat, please. This is on for confirmation. And what's happening today?
I'll defer to the city.
Or the city. Mr. Sharp?
I'm working on it, Your Honor, just catching up here.
What's that? Just to give me an idea of what you expect to happen.
A dismissal, Your Honor.
Okay, all right.
City so moves. I need to get a rescission form to the court. I'll work on that.
So, ma'am, pursuant to the city's motion, this case will be dismissed.
Thank you, sir.
We'll give you a copy of the rescission or the dismissal order, and then there'll be an order rescinding the no contact order. You'll just wait around for a few minutes. We'll get that to you also.
It's okay.
You can just stand by there.
Rick, happy birthday to Chris today. Sorry we missed him. Happy birthday, Chris. I see no ceiling fans. That's just not right. And we're going to skip ahead. Sheila, these are some fun cases. Sometimes we find some real gems.
Yeah, the rescission form should be in Your Honor's 830 folder.
Thank you.
Kevin Murphy, Your Honor.
This is on for a sanction hearing.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Murphy, is he on? Mr. Murphy, can you come on the Zoom call, please? Mr. Murphy, you there?
Paging Mr. Murphy.
We can come back to this, Ms. Kamari. Do you have another one that's ready?
The other matters I have ready are on the 09 calendar. Mr. Swinson
fine.
has a matter for the 0830 calendar. But I do not see him.
Oh, does Mr. Swenson have cases that are ready?
Does anybody have anything?
Why don't you go ahead and call your cases that are ready there, Mr. Swenson?
Yes, Your Honor. First, you can call Charlene Bledsoe, present on Zoom.
Okay, there's Ms. Bledsoe. Mr. Swenson, what's happening this morning? This is on for confirmation.
This is on for confirmation, Your Honor. Defense is requesting a brief continuance. Just looking into a few things before resolving.
What's the speedy trial situation?
I just filed an updated waiver, Your Honor, with new commencement of today. Expiration will be June 17th. We would request pretty quick turnaround if possible, 3 weeks for pretrial or trial confirmation. If we're fine setting it for pretrial too.
Yeah, no, Mr. Let me hear from the city. Mr. Sharp, city have any objection?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, so what we'll do, Ms. Bledsoe, we'll strike the trial date. We don't need to worry about if it's set for next week. You don't need to worry about that. And then we're going to give you a new court date here. We can do 3 weeks. And then it'll be a pre-trial, and then a trial will get set far in the future, probably towards the end of 9 days. And if you resolve it at the pre-trial, those dates will be canceled.
That's fine. Thank you, Your Honor.
8:30 on what? It'll be April 9th at 8:30. And Ms. Bledsoe, do you still live on College Street, apartment G?
Wow, I had to dive for that one.
I do.
All right. Cell phone still the same?
Yes.
That's it for today. You're free to leave the Zoom call. I want to urge you to keep in contact with your attorney there, Mr. Swenson, so you can get all this figured out within the next 3 weeks.
Okay.
Hopefully. You may go.
Mackenzie Sterling and Mr. Stab.
And then next, Your Honor, if we could call Kevin Johnson on the 9 o'clock. He's also on Zoom.
Kevin Johnson.
It's on for a pre-trial. What's happening with that?
Just asking to keep trial confirmation for April 16th at 8:30, Your Honor. Mr. Johnson should be licensed in the next couple of weeks. And
All right. So Mr. Johnson, is he not on the Zoom call? I don't see him on there.
I was just in a breakout room with him.
Saw him earlier too. No objection to just a 3-4
Okay.
appearance, Your Honor.
Sure. Given his appearance here today, we can just leave those court dates set.
Lucky. Lucky.
And I think I was just told by the clerk, he was stuck in the breakout room, so he's coming back right now. So he was unable to break out of the room. Sorry.
He's stuck in the breakout. He's still broken out.
So Mr. Johnson, you there? So, nothing's going to happen today. We're just going to strike the hearing. Your next court date will be April 16th. Your attorney tells me he's working on your license, and so hopefully you'll have that by the time you come back in April.
Yes, Your Honor.
You've been getting text reminders of court dates?
Yes.
You still live on 166th Street in Spanaway?
Gotta turn that off. Man, they just sneak those addresses in.
And then Mr. Swenson, who do you wish to call next?
so Tyler Bateman's present, but we need a moment, Your Honor.
That's fine. We can come back to it.
Yeah. Lonnie, I see Lonnie Hand. Is that, could I get a breakout room with Lonnie Hand? That's on the 9:30.
Yes.
That's all I have ready at the moment.
And there's some people in court. Are you aware? I'm going to find out who's here in court. What's your name, sir? Davis, Lucas. And then what time are you scheduled to be here? There's a Lucas Davis, and then,
Chelsea Silva.
got it. What time are you scheduled to be here, ma'am? What's that? 9 o'clock. And then there's a Ms. Silva.
And Mr. Davis is mine, Your Honor. Does he have a phone on him?
I don't know. Do you have a cell phone? Yes, he does. You want him to call
while
you?
they're rescheduling all these court dates.
Okay,
Looks
so
like nothing.
You want to go into the breakout?
Nothing big is happening right now, so we're going to get ready and go to lunch. I would send you to Emily D. Baker. She doesn't allow redirects to her channel, so you'll have to manually find your way over there. She's talking about the Hannah Gutierrez trial. This is one where she's requested a new trial, and thinks that her lawyer thinks that they have reason to get a new trial. We'll see if they do. So on that note, we're gonna break and go to lunch. Hope you find something great to watch in lunchtime. When we come back, hopefully there'll be something great for us to watch as well. We'll probably check in on Judge Boyd, see what's happening with her courtroom. She just finished a court case here the other day, so maybe she's back on the regular docket. I'm going to do some checking just to see if the plumbing work just managed to, if the magical plumbing fairies just fix things while I did nothing. I don't have high hopes, but we'll take a look at that. All right, tonight when you go home, please hug the people you love, smile at someone, make their day just a little bit better, and stay safe until we go live again right after lunch. If you want to be first in chat, ring the bell, click the subscribe button in reverse order, and then just make sure you're the first person to post a comment in chat. And that would qualify you for winning today. Our winner was Kim R. She's done a great job so far. Thank you very much, Kim. Appreciate that. We're going to go ahead and take a lunch at this point. It's not that I'm hungry. I had 3 omelets for breakfast. I'm good. I ate like half a dozen eggs myself. So, yeah, we'll take a little lunch and we'll be back afterwards. Give us about an hour or so. We'll see if we can dig up a small trial somewhere around the country that might be interesting. If not, we'll look ahead at what's coming up because we have some big ones that are going to be here in no time at all. Thank you guys. We'll see you after lunch. Bye-bye. Helps if I show my face sometimes too.
Scratch all that. Oh, that was terrible. I apologize.
When are we going to break for lunch, Judge?
Because he's the guy.